If the Earth is flat, Pete, then there would be no measurable change in elevation. Q. Elevation is a measured change in the vertical axis, therefore not Q.
Therefore Earth is not flat. And in maths you can prove whatever you like. I'm saying it's not physics. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah, so where does the proof of your flat Earth, where does that come into it?
You measure Earth as flat with a flat baseline to a ground position to start.
You can also prove a flat Earth by measuring angles. How useful for proving a flat Earth?
It's a measurement of a flat Earth. Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
So what about the proof then, right? Does the proof of flat Earth that you have, does that lie within the bounds of science?
I will get triggered now because this is dishonest prick.
Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
Well, I was just wondering, when you were talking about proof of your flat Earth, is that the same proof as the proof that you were talking about with Jaren in science?
I answered the first two times. I said no, twice. No. Measuring things like a flat baseline to a ground position to start, that's not scientific. That's a measurement. Science establishes the cause of an effect. That's the science we deal with. We deal with natural science.
By using scientific
While
method,
the knowledge can be put on the cover of a book as the science of ground position to start, here we specifically deal with natural
Should I show you how
science.
it's possible,
That's
mate?
the scientific method.
by using
There's the
scientific
distinction.
method to prove the Earth is flat.
And I'll agree with you. In maths, you can prove things in the maths. The maths itself is an abstract language. Whereas physics, that's science and the scientific method, is dealing with the physical. It's the difference between science, physics, the physical, and maths, which
Should I
is an
show you how it's
abstract
possible,
language to describe things. Now, if you're saying you can prove things with maths, 1 + 1 = 2. Ground position. Proof. To start. And you were equal to, you've had 1 plus the other one. I can accept that that's proof. Ground position. Maths. To start. In physics, it isn't proof.
Should I show
Because
you
it
how it's
isn't
possible,
physics.
mate?
Physics is the
By
physical.
using scientific method to prove the Earth
Okay, again,
is flat.
I can use the scientific method to prove the Earth is flat. Not the Earth is flat because of scientific method. There's a difference. Shape is not science. But I can use method, the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
Ground position. To start.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
I got your numbers, they're right here.
Yes, that's correct.
It's just as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Sphere, not see
You
thing.
have to open your mind.
Flat, I see thing.
Imagination is all you need.
You do know science is also
Don't
deductible.
take advice from fools.
That is a fact.
Everything that they say is in vain.
So this is a flat Earth proof.
Yes, that's correct.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
Should I show you how it's possible, mate? By using scientific
Yes,
method
that's correct.
to prove the Earth is flat.
An Earth was proved to be flat by these measurements.
So we would assert that that average is how average the level of level is. It's flat. There it is. That's how we use it.
The deviation from that reference means it isn't flat.
Everything is relative to you.
I will get triggered now because he's a
You
dishonest prick.
just have to say
Yes, that's correct.
generality.
It's a what is
You
No.
like those straight line curves.
Means it isn't flat.
Yes, that's correct.
Drive down the road, don't you ever.
The elevation changes make the Earth not flat.
Third, then, it's a stupid argument. So this is a flat Earth proof.
Where all of this goes.
Don't report to FED or no one. I am my own person. I am my own person.
Yes, that's correct.
Everything that they say is in
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
Never take advice from fools.
To prove the Earth is flat.
That they do is in vain.
Don't report to FED or no one. I am my own person.
What's your observed phenomenon for a flat Earth?
Did I say flat Earth was my observed phenomena, or did I say I can use scientific method to prove it's flat? Huh.
Okay, what's your observed phenomena? to prove that it's flat?
I see too far. How's that?
I know the game that you're playing,
You want to know, Jason?
and I know exactly what's on your mind.
Nah, I'm just letting the FED crew know
You
that
got your playbook, it's alright.
their lapdog needs more
Your
training
model dictates what you will find,
because you're an idiot.
and I don't know
Okay, what's your observed phenomena to prove that it's flat?
where all of this goes.
I see too far. How's that?
Don't take advice from fools.
Because you're an idiot.
Everything that they say is in vain.
I'm manipulating my position.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my position? Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my position?
What does your position have to do with the shape of the Earth?
You have an angle towards this.
You can also prove a flat Earth by measuring angles.
Observe, which is
How
already too
useful
far
for
to
proving a
see.
flat Earth.
Now that is scientific fact. There's no real evidence for it, but it is scientific fact.
The rebuttal is actually a straw man. And that's, why I want to clarify, because I think that's worth pointing out, that the rebuttal was a straw man. Nowhere in the argument is the words level plane even mentioned. Topography is not mentioned. And it's only about the elevation change, which is a measured change on the vertical datum. There is no conflation between baseline and topography in the argument. It's just a simple if-then argument about elevation change. And obviously the Earth is not flat because of elevation change. That's what the argument is about. I mean, we can read it out, the entire if-then, again, if it's needed.
Read me one more time, just so I can hear it again. Sorry, say it one more time.
If the Earth is flat, P,
Okay.
then there would be no measurable change in elevation. Q.
Okay.
Elevation is a measured change in the vertical axis, therefore not Q.
Therefore, Earth is not flat.
But the refutation to the argument being that there's some sort of conflation going on between a baseline and topography is just a straw man, because that's not the case for anybody who actually reads the argument. That's my point.
Well, it's not an argument because you're convoluting the baseline from which you will measure, which is your mean sea level. You're convoluting that with the topology you're trying to measure. So it's not an argument. Just you're misusing words.
And me stating the fact that mean sea level is a point on a vertical datum and not a level plane is just a statement of fact. Mean sea level is not a level plane, it's simply a point on a vertical datum. That's all.
Yes, but it's not a level. You don't understand that. What you just said.
Non-argument, you stupid bonehead!
Okay, again, I can use the scientific method to prove the Earth is flat. Not the Earth is flat because of scientific method. There's a difference. Shape is not science, but I can use the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
Why do we have to listen to this incessant verbal diarrhea with the verbatim repetition of it? Virgin!
Just be patient, guys. This happened before.
Well, I was just wondering, when you were talking about proof of your flat Earth, is that the same proof as the proof that you were talking about with Jared in science?
I answered the first two times. I said no. Twice.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
Where's the science for a stationary Earth? Okay, way to demonstrate that you don't understand what science is without saying you don't understand what science is. Because science deals with cause and effect relationships. Though natural science, that's the study of the physical and natural world, is what we are dealing with here on Flat Earth Debate. Now that is exclusively the singular, scientific method. That is exclusively illuminating the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. So when you say, what's the science for stationary Earth?
Should I show you how it's possible, mate?
Okay. you're so used to being told that you can prove concrete nouns with science.
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
Prove concrete nouns with science, that you expect us to adhere to that non-standard.
Not the Earth is flat.
Earth is not flat. Earth is not flat.
Not the Earth is flat.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Because of scientific method. Shape is not science, but I can use the scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
You can prove concrete nouns with science, that you expect us to adhere to that non-standard. It's not a cause and effect relationship that you're asking about. So when you say flat Earth...
Should I show you how it's possible, mate?
Measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
That's not something happening. That's not an occurrence. That's not a phenomenon. You're not going to get an IVDV relationship.
Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my position?
It's absurd to ask us for the science of flat Earth.
You can use the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
No, you can ask for the measurements of flat Earth, the geometry of flat Earth.
Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
The practical application of flat Earth, you can ask for all those things and we can provide them.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
Not the Earth is flat.
You don't understand.
Not the Earth is flat.
Earth is not flat.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
To a ground position.
Just on your own.
But asking for the science of a concrete noun demonstrates you don't understand what science is.
To a ground position.
No reason.
To start.
No logic.
Ground position.
No wisdom.
To start.
No worries.
It's elucidating the cause of an effect, and the
You're
effect
just on your own.
exclusively natural. Only natural.
Does that lie within the bounds of science?
No. Ground position. To start.
So what about the proof then, right? Does the proof of flat Earth, does that lie within the bounds of science?
No.
Well, it's not an argument because you're convoluting the baseline from which you will measure, which is your mean sea level. You're convoluting that with the topology you're trying to measure. So it's not an argument. Just you're misusing words.
What does that have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Sphere, not see thing. Flat, I see thing. I will get triggered now because this is a dishonest prick. You can use the scientific method to prove it's flat. Flat itself is not a science. You want to know how I can use science to prove it's flat? Have you ever thought of that? How would you do it?
Was that your move? Are you going to try and plug your shit on my channel?
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
Lost. If you're telling me you're going, I didn't thank you in return, you noticed.
Yeah. Keep watching Nathan Oakley. And we are live. Welcome, everyone. It's Free for All Friday. It's a few things we can talk about, I think. But I want to give everybody else a chance, I think. I've talked loads this week. Do have a few things to go over. Particularly, I think it's a bit amusing this week that we've got a new hashtag in town. Earth is measured flat hashtag. When it's not. We can go over a little bit of a conversation, I suppose, if we get stuck. That I had this morning, it's not really worth putting it out, I don't think, but I don't know. Might be worth it. We've been going over a university, a chair of the mathematics department at Utah Valley University, who's been doing a video about us here, all of us, going and reviewing his video about triangles. He's teamed up with Blue Marble Science to produce a video about us on his channel. I don't know whether he's putting it on his channel. I don't even know whether he's aware of what is going on with we've had a friend, I think. Is his friend? I think he lives, might be like a neighbour or something, I don't know. A guy called Flat Earth Math. He's been helping out, I think. He's been defending this mathematician, this university chair. I mean, he might even be able to get a seat on the committee if he helps him out enough. He might, you never know. That's been interesting. We've also got this development of the new church of Flat Earth, and there's a thing going on at the minute because these mathematicians, there's a rumor that the globe mathematicians that are of the Mormon religion, I think they're the ones that have prepared the mind for accessing this model. It seems to be like, I can't imagine it myself. Never really been that good at imagination. I need things to be tangible for me to be able to imagine them. But that may just be me, and it may just be this what do you call it, the new church of Earth shape. I don't know. Model affliction, the mind of the model afflicted, and sort of like a religious connotations to it. Hard to tell. So if anybody's got any topics they want to bring in other than them, because I'm up for discussing all of them. They're all, I think, new types of discussion that we've had these sort of discussions in here in the past, but it's Free for All Friday, so let's open it up to the floor. I think there's a definite thing with this because they've tried to place this model within a religious state, the great biblical debate. It's become, I don't know, just, I would say I haven't got a great massive group of people to deal with, but it seems like the most model afflicted upon the spherical geometric side, the mathematical side, is the Mormons. I think they're hands down beating the Christian church with being able to mathematically defend with proofs, I think, because I'm pretty sure that mathematical chair of the Utah Valley thing, I'm pretty sure he said he had a proof. Just like Nathan Oakley says he's got a proof, and like Flatzoid says he's got a proof of, but they've got proof of the flat Earth, and the other guy's got proof of a two-dimensional sphere. I don't know. I keep coming back, getting flashbacks to going over that stuff that they were talking about last night. It's great.
I do have one question before. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Just one question before I'll have to go here in a minute. But if someone has accepted a bit of information, let's say that it's just like it's not factual, it's wrong, but they've accepted it. Or if they make a statement based off that wrong information, is it possible to show them a contradiction within the statement?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know, because you'd have to have a conversation with somebody like that, and the only people we have is Flat Earth Math, and I'm not too sure that he can converse about that sort of thing. But that's an interesting one to ask him.
Well, it would be, I guess he'd be the. It just makes me think, like, what is it? What does a person have to be able to be shown that they are stating a contradiction? I mean, we've seen that a lot here lately in text chat, different texts or different chat rooms or whatever. Like, where's the contradiction? And they'll say the contradiction, and they just can't see it.
Yeah, like for instance, right? If we go along with the fact that there is a proof within mathematics that triangles have 180 degrees, we can all agree on that, right? Well, that's something where it's common in everybody, except this other group of people have also got triangles having more than 180 degrees as well.
That's what I loved about the advanced simplicity, the edit you did with the professor. He just says you're flat out wrong if you think they have more. No. But if someone can hold both of those contradictory statements at the same time, is it possible to show them, like get to either, I guess, convince them, or I don't know.
Yeah.
What does it take for a person to change their mind? I mean, I would assume proofs, but we've been told that they don't have proofs. Well, I mean, maybe that's within science. I don't know. Maybe is there proof? Do they have proofs? Have we asked the question of, do they have proofs in math?
Well, we say that's why that's one of the best ones, because you can prove that a triangle has 180 degrees. So what does that proof hold for them when they have it? If they also think that, that proof could be contradicted with a triangle with other than 180 degrees.
I don't get it either, because it would seem like enough that when you define a triangle as having this, but then when you call something else that has more than 180 degrees the same word, I mean, that's a contradiction within itself, because you've already defined the term. Why would you put the same name on something that's not that? Or even how to even get an angle. Like,
yeah,
they redefine that too.
But they redefine it? It's just
because of
differently, I think.
Well, I mean, maybe they don't redefine it, but like, an angle is two straight lines, meet at the apex. But they have an angle also being a straight line to a curved line. So it's like, bit of a contradiction, but hey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have perpendiculars being the same, but different somehow. Like
the scholar sauce guy. The scholar sauce guy in the video yesterday was like, in geometry, parallel lines don't meet, but how was it he said it? Was it in reality, or I can't remember. He was saying it like, well, it was in the video we went over yesterday with him in blue.
Yeah, I'm saying they say that much stupid stuff recently. I can't remember.
It's hard to keep up with. Yeah.
But it's one of those things that they tend to do, like the Jesse Kozlowski magic, where they don't really say it. They just leave it out there for you to imagine whatever it is you want to take from it. When they either don't tell you the full truth, or they just go back on the words that they've just said. But yeah, I mean, if any of them decide to come in, if anybody wants to come in and explain how you can have this sort of dual, it's ditheism. I keep going back to it. You've got to have two truths. It's the only way really to get rid of the contradiction. The way that you can live with the contradiction and continue.
Well, they'll either hold two truths or a vacuous truth. Usually it's that.
But you'd expect a university chair of mathematics department to understand the proof in a triangle having only 180 degrees. Hopefully you would anyway, wouldn't you? That's why I think this Mormon mind, I think. But again, I don't know. It's only a theory at the minute. That only certain minds can do this to themselves. Certain minds get triggered. Certain minds explode. But then there seems to be the unique ones that just can't see a contradiction.
Isn't calling yourself flat Earth math? That's kind of a contradiction too, isn't it?
Yeah, he said he did. He started it off really. Like he's been in it the longest.
Because I can't take him seriously at all.
No.
With that, calling himself that, I really don't see the point.
Literally, the man is a walking contradiction. You couldn't find anybody that's more contradictory than flat Earth math. Because I thought his name was Matthew at first.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think why else would he be that? Because you can't actually think that there's some sort of thing as flat Earth mathematics. That's ridiculous. And it's like, no, yeah, that's what he is. And he's a teacher.
He's been around.
It's like, well, that makes it a bit stranger.
I mean, he's been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long he's been calling himself flat Earth math.
Since the beginning.
But
it
seems to me that
people, right? You may not know this, right? But we consider there's a group of people that have been around for a long time. I call them the Flat Earth Society guys. Now, these guys all go by the tag name Flat Earth something.
Yeah.
And as far as I consider, none of them are actual flat earthers. Now, on this list, you've got Flat Earth Math. There's a guy called Flat Earth Dogma. There was a guy called Flat Earth Data. Anyone else know any others? Flat Earth Pilot. There's the Flat Earth Debate. And come on, guys, there must be some others. But, you can see them. You can spot them a mile off. And because their names are as such, whenever you mention them in any video, you'll get hit by that bot. So these guys are propagating this flat Earth thing because you'll get tagged with this extra thing on your YouTube
when you go
channel,
on Google,
and then
it comes up with the Okay, so it comes up on your search algorithm.
Yeah.
That man there looked for the flat Earth.
Yeah.
Mark.
He put it on his channel, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in my journey, I haven't really heard much maths. It wasn't until I came here and found this server that I came across maths and geometry at all. But before that, I hadn't really heard anything specifically about that. Not something math based or. So I wondered, how long this, this attack or this battle against, flat Earth maths has been a thing, really, because I don't see it in any other place talking about the maths or the geometry. People are shying away from it. So it seems a strange thing to call you flat Earth maths, call yourself that, when that doesn't seem to be a major subject or topic, not that I've been aware of, but maybe you are aware of that. And for years, there's been a whole conversation to be had around conflicting maths models. But I don't know if that's true. It just seems a strange name. And that's not really something I've come across in the main. It's been about, other things, small math things about measuring curves or something like that, but not about geometry, not about,
Yeah, it is strange, isn't it? Because geometry is the science of line and form, really. So if you're talking about shape, then how could you not include geometry?
Because the strange thing is that the little journeys we've been making over in these other servers and stuff and having chats and things, nobody knows this stuff.
No.
Very, very few people have got any knowledge of any of the maths, any of the geometry. They know about horizontal and...
Could you? You can't even start at
No,
the basics of it in order to, progress.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Why somebody would call themselves flat Earth math, because it isn't even something that people are even aware of, or a subject, and the people that you can speak to that have been well, how long have you been around? 8 years, 10 years, and they haven't got a clue about the geometry or Euclid or much maths really. So I always found that quite strange, why call yourself flat Earth math if there wasn't even really an argument to be had about it, unless you really, really went searching to find it. It only seems to be here. So I don't see the subject talked about anywhere else that I've been. I know I haven't been around that long, but yeah. It feels like that, feels like some chase to head off anybody having any other free ideas about what might be going on or what makes sense or what's logical. Just a whole lot of confusion soup. Even here amongst the people who know quite well versed and quite know their stuff, it's just a constant attack on people's intelligence.
Yeah, but there's still I'm still making new realizations every day. It's not as if I don't gain anything from going and having these conversations. I do.
Yeah.
So I'm still I think I'm achieving something for myself. I'm still getting somewhere along on this journey of trying to, still on the same mission, just still trying to converse with people about things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just some strange characters around, so found it really quite odd.
You're quite new to this arena, but I mean they've been around for years. All of these people that we're talking to over there, we've talked to many, many, many times about the same sort of
people
thing.
Yeah, people who put themselves up as professors, educated people. I'm really surprised at the way they are, the way they talk, the way they act, the kind of contradictions that they throw out. I just find it quite strange.
Well, that might be because you can see the contradictions.
Yeah, maybe.
Just as maybe simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss, like they do say, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. But as you say, it is moving on a bit. Like you say, the new tagline of the Earth's been measured flat. This is the new tagline for 2024. And as you said to some guys today, are you prepared? It's coming. You're going to have to defend this. You're going to have to come up with some story about how it's measured flat. That seems to be a direction things are going in. And as you said, the biblical thing, that's I know people are, there's a connection with the creator and, because they say, it's all been, the creator's been hidden from you and it's all connected with the flat earth. So I can see that growing. But there's seems to be a much stronger...
People are going to go to the spiritual side, aren't they? Because let's face it, reality is messed up. the minds of people have been absolutely messed up. So naturally, they're going to go to spiritual or go to the mind. And they'll start seeing things, or, you know, they'll imagine whatever they want from there on in.
Yeah. Yeah, people seeking sanctuary in confusion, you know. Help me kind of make sense of this. Some of the stuff I've seen, you know, is just, you know, crazy stuff, really. And it's being supported by some of the more forward-facing faces in the arena, really. That you know, I was chucked out of somewhere today because you're not allowed to talk about people. You can only talk about the subject. You mustn't say anything about any of the people who have influence over other people.
Pastors of any of the churches, or you know, none of the priests can't talk about any of that. Just about the religion.
Yeah, and I was warned. You know, you can only talk about flat Earth. You cannot talk about the people in flat Earth for 24 hours. And I said, well, what happens if I don't comply? You know, all right. So it's blocked and chucked out for a couple of days. Yeah. And yet, you know, these people are having a great deal of influence on you know, in the arena and on people who are fresh coming along or just, you know, looking to see what's going on there.
It's been a tactic that they've used for years, right? And it started off on the globe side, whereas like Fight the Flat Earth would say something absolutely ridiculous, like, or accuse people of some sort of heinous crime. And then nobody would want to talk about it because that's him, right? Go and talk to him about that. Don't talk to us about it. And that sort of thing has worked, right? Because the people can shut down conversations like that because just because that guy, like Bob the Science Guy, makes a logical argument doesn't mean that you have to defend it. Right? Like, just like Nathan Oakley at the minute is going around saying a new hashtag that the Earth's measured flat. Well, none of the flat earthers need to bother dealing with that because Nathan Oakley says it. You know, like, go and talk to Nathan Oakley about it. You know,
yeah, and I've heard that repeated in the last week. That tagline has been coming along. Yeah, and so it's making its way, you know, filtering down amongst the, you know, the disciples and the people who are just repeat things, and they're spreading it out, even if they don't realize they've been recruited into this message giving, but it is filtering through. and you know, if you challenge it or ask for some details about that, wow, it all closes down and people shut you up. Or, you know, I spoke to a guy today and he admitted it's a false dichotomy. And yet he's one of the main guys around, it seems, you know. And he went straight back to...
admitted it's a false dichotomy.
Yeah. And went straight back to claiming flat Earth when he knew. He said, yeah, well, you know, it's just what, you know, the way we talk about it. It's a bit of a bad representation after he'd represented himself as being a surveyor, of course. But yeah. Yeah, they don't want to face the truth of it, really.
Yeah,
that seems odd.
Askin says that this Utah Valley University is 80% Mormon. So if this guy's the chair of the mathematics department, there's a, you know, it's a good chance that, yeah, it model afflicted minds easily, if you want to get ahead in this new globe sort of thing, then you'd be better off taking the Mormon mindset. I don't know what that is myself, but it's definitely worthwhile looking into, isn't it? I think. I mean, not having a great, a great broad spectrum of things to go over, but it seems like the ones that come to us and make videos about us do seem to be the mathematically minded Mormon. If presuming he is Mormon.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's something there that is offences to them in some sense, and they have to go and witness for their God kind of thing, to show that they've done battle or something. I don't know whether they would draw on scripture to support their model. There's certainly some who do. I was watching Ben Odell, a great biblical debate flat earth pastor, and one of his pastors there has made a little model of the flat earth, which is a bit like a clear plastic cake
Yeah, it's
thing
like
you'd
a bit
cover
of
a
flat
cake
donut. Like I've seen some trifles sort of like that.
with. Yeah, one of those sort of plastic you put over your cake, stop the flies get into it. It's a bit like that, and he's stuck a little throne on the top and put LED lights in it, so it sort of represents the firmament and God sitting on the top of the cake case, and he presents that to his congregation and as the flat Earth, and draws on scripture to support that. So, some people undoubtedly are making that connection and finding scripture to somehow support it and telling their congregation that this is how it is.
Yeah, I can see it being big, right? Because they had a marquee up. There was stalls and tables, and there were people getting together. Passing the plate round, and I can see it being a big thing myself.
Yeah,
the way it's going at the minute. And I don't fault anyone about the religions or anything like that. I think it would be interesting to get the take of Flat Earth Math and this other guy, because Globe Pastor didn't seem to do too well.
No, and for me, it's the kind of easy slip into belief. When you tag a religion on the side of it, because people are encouraged to have faith and believe in things that they have no proof of, and that may well be good for some people, and they feel supported in their lives by that. There's do what they want, really. I'm not putting that down, but there is also an aspect of in the arena of believing. I mean, initially they'll say, well, what do you know about the globe as opposed to what you believe? And there's a big questioning goes on to bring you to the place, well, you actually don't know anything. It's just you believe it. But then, another model is given in images and descriptions of how things are. It's a torus field. It's got an ice wall. It's everything goes east and west around the center, Mount Meru. These are all images. These are all models that are just being put into people's minds with no proof at all. Not even the 5,000 years of money and all that stuff. And then people saying, well, we don't have a model. So there's an element of faith and belief in people who are describing a certain kind of model and paradigm. So I think with the connection with the Bible, that that's it's a belief system. So it will then can be connected. So you don't need proof for this flat Earth inverted commas either. Just believe. It says so in the Bible. It says so here in this scripture. This guy came along and found some tablets somewhere, and it says so here. And this land was given to these people, and those people over there are satanic and evil if they don't believe what we believe. And that has been. I have heard that said in the last week or two, that if you're not on this side, then the others are satanic and evil. That's a bit extreme.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to history of where you used to get told of people worshipping different, not like deities, but the sun and the moon, because most things have to be linked to something, right? That you have to put as the object of whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder where the worship has come more recently. Is it more inward? Do modern times have brought it down to the earth and also the self once you get really into it?
Yes, lots of things have happened and developed over centuries, and systems to control people,
this is
and
much quicker. This is what we're talking about here, right? Is this ditheism that's been allowed to people to not notice contradictions? So that's since the 1960s, 70s, late 60s, 70s.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of see them as developments of control from way back. Whether even when I was listening to things like Thomas Aquinas, and him kind of talking about politics, and you need people were political animals, human were political animals, and I could kind of see that there was a need. I mean, when people were living out just in nature and hunter-gatherer, they looked around them and saw nature informed them about something, right or wrong. They knew it, it's going to rain, or then there might be an eclipse, and they think the red moon god was angry or whatever. But as things became a bit more organized, then there was a need to have people to do certain things and organize people by the rulers.
The parts of the influence, because I think Thomas Aquinas linked logic to God, and the moment he did that, that was under attack then. And that does in turn lead us to today. But this I'm talking about
more recent
the mind and how the mind deals with it. The cogdis comes around in the 20s, 30s. And that's sort of a reaction to contradictions, right? Before then, there was no such thing as cognitive dissonance, because why would you have to deal with contradictions? And then we end up with where we are today, once they've got rid of the logic and they've handed people this ditheism as a secondary cure for cogdis. Because you'll never get to cogdis. It's like a happy pill, isn't it? To make sure that you never find yourself in any cognitive dissonance. Because you can just release it and have two truths. Never have a contradiction. So like a happy pill. I
mean, you can kind of see that being reinforced in society with the way that people are. I mean, the leaders are two-faced. They create contradictions, but want to tell you they're not being contradictory. So people get used to that. Oh well, he didn't really mean it, and that logic and contradictions are not easily seen, are not recognized. If you don't have that kind of the idea of logic, to be able to see contradictions and understand the way people talk and have the language, then it's going to be much more difficult to have critical thinking, isn't it? And as you say, people who say there are no proofs, there's science doesn't prove anything, you can't have any proof of anything, then people will have no faith in any proof if they came across any. So well, you can't have
what
it.
A proof was.
No.
That's how you know when somebody doesn't have a proof. That they just wouldn't know what one was. They don't know what they require, right? When they're sort of asking you for something, but because they have no sense of proof or no understanding of proof, they've got nothing to base anything upon. So they don't know what they require. And then it turns into a frustration game, particularly if you're conversing with somebody who, like me, who does actually have a proof. They become scared to even mention it. They don't even want to ask. Because they know that if you were to go over, try and help them out, to lead them along a path, that, you know, in order to gain that proof for themselves, it'd be too much. It might cause pain. So they can't even go on the journey. We have an analogy here, or Buster does, for us taking a trip up a mountain, but I mean, it's not really the trip up the mountain at all. It's just the hanging about at the bottom, seeing who wants to come. Because it's not such a big mountain.
No, it's not.
Double think. Well, I think that was sort of Orwell's, was sort of a way to put people in the state of mind that they're going to have to be. But then it become a rule book for them to play with.
Yeah. Oh dear. Turn it against them.
Yeah. Yeah, everything gets inverted or flipped upside down. And that's why it's so hard to understand what is going on modern day times. New modern mathematics. Yes. People can't see contradictions.
It's going to be an interesting year, this next one coming. See which way it goes and how it develops, really. Maybe there'll be more people who come into the geometrical side of it, asking questions. Maybe not, hopefully so. I haven't really seen it in the arenas that we've been hanging around in recently. People don't want to go anywhere near it. Kind of want to push these ideas away.
Struggling for the arena. A discussion about, proofs within shape. And how you do actually gain your proofs. It's always the conversation's gonna be there. It's never gonna go away. It's gonna linger around like a really bad smell. And they can't address it. There's just certain topics that cannot be addressed.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to keep finding ways to push the buttons, I think.
Yeah.
Just now, yeah. I mean, now today I felt differently about being chucked out. I felt like, oh, okay, maybe I should take the gloves off a bit, really, and deal with it a bit differently, really. I mean, maybe you don't get a chance for very long before your card is marked, and you become one of those people that get swamped over or
you can't even
shut
become
down.
a sophist, right? Because the sophists, they're allowed to talk.
Yes.
So you're challenging.
Maybe
I consider us, what we do here is we refine people's arguments, and that's all we do. We just try and help people out by tweaking certain arguments, and it seems like a certain flat earthers just want to take the piss.
Yeah.
Because you've got jokes of a modus tollens, right? A fallacious modus tollens. Then you've got a thing about an angle measuring device when everybody knows you can do fuck all with an angle. And now we've developed into the Earth's measured flat, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. It's perhaps a little bit more ridiculous than we see too far.
Yeah.
And again, this is the leading figure from the flat Earth community. And we've got Rob Keane in here, right? Now, Rob Keane is a flat earther, right? And I would say I quite like Rob. And I would say to Rob, don't listen to Nathan Oakley, because that's just a ridiculous thing to say. How can the Earth possibly be measured flat?
Yeah. If you look in the live chat, I said measured flat Earth is stupid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he's leading flat earthers into a really bad position. And Nathan Oakley won't have to defend it. But, you know, like people like you will be like, you know, hey, I heard that the flat earth thing, the big thing is that they think it's measured flat. And you'll have to defend it. And you'll have to say, well, you know, that's not me. I don't say that. He said, I thought you were a flat earther. So Nathan Oakley's handing them something that every flat earther is going to have to defend. Pretty much like a stupid, fallacious argument that they've been handed. Or the thing about the sextant.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to defend it alone as well, because you can't go over to Oakley's place and have any kind of discussion with him, because he just, you know, shuts your mic down, shouts over the top of you. There's, you know, it's only the people who come out from there with the message that they're on their own to deal with it. He'll never want to deal with it, you know, on his territory for sure.
It's flat. I mean, yeah, Buster has this thing about vacuous statements, vacuous truths. And this is one of them. This is a vacuous statement. It says
yes, but not true.
Nothing.
It's not true. I would oppose.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
It's not vacuous truth, because it is not true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just a vacuous statement, not a vacuous truth. Well, in fact, it's worse than that, because it's a falsehood, isn't it? Like,
it is obvious.
It's measured not flat, because they measure elevation changes, literally. Earth is literally measured not flat. Yet Nathan Oakley's handing people what I'd say one of the worst things ever. And I don't know how flat earthers are ever going to attempt to defend it. It's almost like Nathan Oakley is working against flat earthers. May seem strange, but I mean, take it as you will.
I think that this is his response to your argument. I think
because of the elevate. You reckon he's come up with that because I've said that elevation changes are measured.
Yes, they are measured. So his response is it's measured flat.
Wow. You see, again, if that's true, then something that I've said as a truthful statement has been inverted just by the way natural human behavior happens. Certain people have to invert certain statements. Don't know why. Yeah. Well, again, surely we can't be having that much influence with like a little tiny YouTube channel. you know, a little group on Discord of a certain group of people. They're just talking about logic, geometry. Nathan shouldn't be having to do stupid stuff like that. It's to the detriment of flat earthers, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
All like most flat earthers, let's say. I can't say all. Most flat earthers have took that tagline on because they've been handed it. Or perhaps that you know, there's another group of people who've called them, you know, ridiculous names or insulted them or whatever, and you think, well, I don't want to join that group because they're all calling me names and stuff. So therefore you just end up taking a tagline of this ridiculous concept. Feel an affinity to this group of people.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a group of people. You know, I've always said it. I'm not a flat earther, but I mean, it doesn't make any difference to what other people call themselves. But as long as you can justify it, then come and have a conversation. Then you've got people like Nathan Oakley and QE that take it ultra seriously when they're like quite literally wrong, provably wrong in like nearly all of their statements. Fallacious modus tollens, ridiculous sextant argument, although there's no argument. It's just a statement about a sextant, which it was even more ridiculous the way it got hyped up. And now this is the new thing for 2024, Nathan Oakley. Madness. He's not got a clue what he thinks. Thinks surveyors are going to back him. I feel sorry for that, right? Because at some point, somebody's going to bring in surveyors and they shouldn't be troubled. They should just be left to do their jobs. Who wants to cause mental pain to people? It is a bit weird, isn't it? Because you've got this group where it's fascinating, the conversation, but the places you have to take your mind when you're in here, well, I think you need to be warned, really, of the dangers of what may occur to your mental understanding of things within yourself. Broken minds.
So, Bev, do you think I think I've asked you this before. Do you believe that the folks who call themselves flat earthers, they genuinely believe that there are no elevation changes? Because it seems that, I don't know.
No, I think they're confused, but Nathan Oakley says it's measured flat. Like,
Yes,
what
and
do
what
you
do you think it
imagine
means?
that means?
No, what do you imagine that means?
I don't know what it means. It's nonsense.
Well, okay.
To
so
me,
if
because
you
I
say it's
know
nonsense-
for a fact that the Earth is measured not flat. I've got training in surveying.
you don't need training in surveying. That's
No,
a
but I
ridiculous-
have
you don't
training
need
in surveying. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
So
I
I
get
have
that. But
personal,
anybody-
first-hand experience that
Yeah,
the
but everyone
Earth
else does
is
as well.
measured not flat.
Yeah, but everyone.
But the
with a
flat
pulse knows
earthers
that.
are saying, Nathan Oakley is saying that the Earth is measured flat, and I don't understand
Okay,
what
so
that
what do you-
means.
Yeah. Well, then I would suggest, if you don't understand what that means, that you try to understand what that means.
It doesn't
And
mean
I think-
anything. It's nonsense. As I say,
then why are they
it's an
saying- why do they say it?
inversion of reality, isn't it?
Why do flat earthers call themselves flat earthers?
Why are you called flat Earth math?
Yeah.
I've explained that before. My channel is
perhaps for
dedicated.
the same reason that you called yourself Flat Earth Math.
Well, because
what does that mean?
There's a discussion
Doesn't
that's
mean
been
anything.
going on for years, and it is called the Flat Earth discussion. I mean, people.
Yeah, but not maths, though, is it? People aren't talking about maths. How long have they been talking about maths for?
We're talking
16
about-
years?
We're talking about the concept of flat Earth, which has been discussed for many,
Maths.
many
Is that Matthew?
flat Earth.
Math. Is that Matthew?
Flat Earth is what we're talking about.
No,
So
math.
we're talking
You've got it in your
Why
name.
you call yourselves Flat Earthers? But you
just
call
explained.
yourself,
So
you
I-
literally call yourself
don't-
Flat Earth Math.
Yeah, the name of my channel is dedicated. It's named Flat Earth Math because it's dedicated to the math and science of the Flat Earth discussion.
Well, there
This
you
is now
go.
the second time in the
So
last 30 seconds.
You asked me, why do they call themselves Flat Earthers? And I'm saying I don't know. But perhaps it
I
could
think
be
you
for
do
the
know.
same reason that you called
you know.
yourself Flat Earth Math. Do you
I call
reckon?
myself Flat Earth
Could it
Math
be?
after the name of the discussion, which is on Flat Earthers.
Well, that's what
And
they
Flat
might do.
Earthers-
They may call themselves Flat Earthers because they've been into the discussion about Flat Earthers, just like you.
Okay. So
Is that
this
a
is
viable
where-
option
this-
for
this
your
is where-
answering
this is
your
where
question?
I keep using you of sophistry because I think you know exactly the game that you're playing. Flat Earthers believe the Earth is not a globe. They believe that level is the same as horizontal for the whole world. Okay, and I believe that you know.
but they're wrong.
Understand those
But no,
things as
level
well.
is horizontal everywhere, right? The whole
It's
world,
not.
everybody's whole world, right?
No.
Of all
No.
of the places in everybody's whole world that they've ever been to, they've ever experienced, level has always been horizontal.
Well, it's not defined as horizontal. Level is a curved surface that follows the curvature of the Earth.
So
okay?
in your belief,
It's not
yes.
obvious, right? It's not
Yeah,
obvious.
if you
because
cherry
the
pick
planet's
one
too large.
definition.
No, he's not cherry picking
Earthers-
one definition, Rob. He's
Flat
just
Earthers-
believing that himself. Like he's saying
Flat
about
Earthers
other people.
believe the Earth is
Everybody
not a globe.
just has a belief until, Charles, you have a proof. Right? And
Flat
then the
Earthers
moment you
believe
gain
the
a
Earth is not a
proof,
globe.
it is not a belief anymore.
And they also believe that the Earth is not concave. Okay, so there are concave Earthers. I've talked to them. There are globe Earthers. Obviously, I'm one of them. And then there are flat Earthers who believe the Earth is neither
And you
concave nor
you can speak
globe
for the beliefs
where
of
level is
all, can you?
I cannot speak to the beliefs of all. For
Good.
example,
well,
I
you
don't
just
know,
speak for yourself
I
then. Don't
know
worry
you
about what
believe
flat
about
earthers
planet's
do,
latitude.
even though you are called Flat Earth Math.
Okay. I've talked with folks for 16 years in the flat Earth discussion, and so I'm pretty darn familiar with what their belief structures
Okay,
are.
right.
Not-
well,
not
just
everybody.
recently, Charles.
I don't know what your belief
This
structure
is just recently. Nathan Oakley has got a hashtag. The Earth is measured flat.
Yes, and you know what he means by that.
I
And
don't.
It doesn't mean that.
No, I've just said, Charles, I do not know what he means by it.
Then
It's
how-
nonsense. It's literally
Nonsense.
the opposite of what we have in reality.
Then how can you say it's nonsense if you don't know what he means?
Okay.
What do you think he means, then?
I will tell you what it means. This is statement of fact.
What does
This
he
is
mean by the
statement-
statement of fact?
This sentence. I assume that you know grammar enough that you know that this sentence is statement of fact, of
We're
historical
not asking
fact.
whether it's a statement of fact. We're asking what he means by it.
Uh,
What do you think he means by it?
Statement of fact is that the Earth is measured, or is being measured, or was measured flat. So
What does that mean?
someone.
You can't just repeat him and just and say that's
I'm-
what
Just
he
let him
means.
speak a minute then, Charles. Shush.
Sure.
Yes. So it means that it is done. This process
done.
of
What is
measuring,
done?
yes, process of measuring flat Earth and measuring it flat is done. So it is historical fact. And this fact is
How-
false because it
how
is
measured?
impossible.
How measured? That's what we're talking about.
It,
Earth
it
is
doesn't
measured flat.
matter.
How?
Statement.
How did he
statement.
measure it?
Yes, flat.
How?
Flat.
No, how?
Outcome is flat. Outcome is flat.
Oh my goodness!
In
So
that
you don't
statement.
know
How did he do it then, Charles? How did he measure it, Charles?
Charles, it doesn't. Statement doesn't tell us how the measurement was taken, in which manner. This is not in the statement. In statement, we have that measurement outcome of measurement means flat. It is flat because it was measured flat, as is in statement. And this is just false.
So what would you think about this construct? Take a rectangular solid that's 20,000 miles long, 20,000 miles wide, and only, I don't know, maybe 1,000 miles thick. That would look like a tabletop, right? Because the length is like 20 times greater than the width.
You're using
Right?
straight
Or 20 times
lengths.
greater than the thickness.
Now, are you using straight lengths there, Charles, or are you imagining those shortest distances between those points are on a great circle, like Bob the
So if you would
Science Guy
imagine
does?
this rectangular solid, which was looking like a tabletop.
Yeah, and is
people
the
would call
shortest
that
distance between
flat.
those 2 points? I know you said
And if
rectangular,
the
but we can't trust
entire-
that.
If the
It's
entirety
the shortest
of the Earth
distance,
is inside
a
this
straight
box,
line, or a
so
great
all the
circle.
cities of the world, all the mountains of the world, all the oceans of the world, if they could fit entirely within this box, in fact, even all the atmosphere of the world, if that could fit entirely within this box that is a very flat box, much, much longer than it is thick. That's what flat earthers mean by flat Earth. They don't mean mountains don't exist. They mean that for example, sea level is pretty much flat. I mean, obviously there's tides and there's waves.
Good job you
right?
came
So
round here, Charles, because that means Nathan
neglecting-
Oakley doesn't even have to justify it to us. You're
Huh,
doing
he
it for us.
justified it
Thanks
for
a lot.
us.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
what flat earthers believe.
He's got
When
flat
they
Earth
say flat
math to come over and deal with this
they
sort of issue
believe that
for us.
Earth can be
Yeah, but we-
visualized more like a pizza.
We don't
than a
agree with that,
basketball.
Charles. We don't
That's
agree with that.
ridiculous,
How
Charles.
how did he measure it flat? You're
Yes.
just painting a picture of something that isn't flat.
Sorry,
It just happens to be in
I
a
don't even
long,
agree with
thin
that.
box.
Well, that's
Charles,
what-
you
that's
said
what the word
that
flat means.
you
A
made an
pizza is
analogy.
flat.
Charles,
A
you made
basketball is
false
not flat.
analogy because no one measured Earth being flat in that manner, like you described with this table or whatever. Nobody. So it is not measured in that manner.
Well, obviously, measuring is done with measuring tools, and
Yeah.
Nathan believes that just merely measuring angles indicates that the
I
Earth is
don't
flat.
know what he
When
meant.
did you speak to Nathan?
Ye-
Oh, I've
yes,
spoken to him many, many times.
we
About
are
this?
talking.
About how he measured the Earth flat?
Every time he mentions an angle of elevation, he says that you're measuring it from a flat baseline. So yeah, he
Yeah, but we
believes
think
that
that's
the Earth is
ridiculous
flat,
too.
And
Yes, yes,
But he
we
We
does
know
think
not
that's
that.
ridiculous.
disbelieve.
I don't know what you're here supporting him for,
He does.
or trying to
I'm not
attack us as
supporting
if
him. I'm
we're
saying
we're
what
supporting
flat
him.
earthers
We thought it was
believe.
ridiculous as well.
Oh my goodness!
This angle,
And
elevation
meanwhile, you
angle
guys will
is
refuse to tell me what you guys
Charles.
believe.
It is from
So
horizontal
that's
plane.
kind of funny.
Horizontal plane, which they call it flat baseline. I don't know why, instead of horizontal. But still, horizontal or even flat baseline, this is not surface of the Earth.
So the question is of precision, right?
No,
So sea level does sea level wrap around a ball, or does sea level is it closer to a plane than a sphere? Right? I'm not saying is it exactly a plane. I'm saying is sea level closer to a plane than a sphere?
Why are you talking
And
to us
flat
about
earthers
this stuff?
believe
We're not even flat earthers. So
believe that sea level is closer to a plane. Obviously, there's tides. Obviously, there's waves. So there's a little bit of variability. You know, a couple feet here, a couple feet there, maybe 100 feet here, 100 feet there. But for the whole Earth, flat earthers believe that sea level is
Charles,
pretty close
Charles,
to a horizontal plane.
Charles.
Not exactly.
I think
Charles,
it is.
don't-
I
Oh,
think
go
it
on,
is
Piper.
not important because in definition is a description that water seeks level. So the question is, what level is? This is the question. Or level is a plane, or line, straight line, or but better to say plane, or it is spherical, not plane. This is the question.
Flat
About
earthers
level.
believe level is a plane.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
But still, it doesn't prove that the Earth is flat.
No, the Earth is
Well, it doesn't
measured
prove anything.
flat.
I'm
We're,
just saying
we're
it's
particularly
what-
talking about the
Yeah.
recent statement from flat earthers where they state the Earth is measured flat, Charles.
That could be a direct response to your statement. The Earth
Yeah,
is measured, not flat.
Yeah, but
Which
it
kind
is.
of
what
The
I'm
ironic.
Earth
saying.
is
You both-
measured, not flat.
So-
That's a
But you both-
statement of
yes,
fact.
Yes, there's hills and valleys. But it's kind of
Yes.
ironic since you guys are both flat earthers. That,
No, we're not.
You have one,
What are you talking about? This is the problem. We challenge them with the same things, Charles. This is the question. We're challenging,
That's the-
how is it measured flat?
the same reason.
We're
why
not
you guys
saying it
think
is
it's
flat.
right? The same
Yeah,
reason why
but you know
guys
what
think
you're
it's flat.
doing here? You're questioning people with your paradigm, trying to get some leeway. And you're coming over here saying that we should even ask the question
He's
about
trying to
what
label
we measured it
us
flat.
earthers. But I don't say
Yeah.
it's flat, Charles.
Same as
It's
the
never
scholar's
been
source. He was the
flat.
What you
same.
say,
Blue marble, same.
Bev, what you say is that level is the same as horizontal. That's another way of saying.
Yes,
the
I
Earth
have a
is
proof
flat.
that level is horizontal, Charles.
No, level is not horizontal. And you're
I
having
have a proof of it. Yes.
No, you don't. No.
Yeah.
No, your proof is using basically the graph paper analogy. All vertical lines on graph paper are parallel to all vertical lines. All horizontal lines on graph paper are perpendicular to all vertical lines.
No, I've got a real life
And
test
so-
called the Realising
so-
Euclid Test, Charles. It's a mathematical test
your real life
in
test,
reality. That's what we've got. So don't talk about us with graph paper because you don't know anything about it, Charles. You're here.
Your real life test.
You're here to defend Nathan Oakley stating that the Earth is measured flat against the claim from us that the Earth is not measured flat.
But I just think it's ridiculous that you believe that Nathan has never seen a hill or a valley. And so you know that's not true, so you're just playing word games.
Yes, Charles.
No,
Look,
it is
we
not.
know he can see mountains and valleys. The question is,
Right?
why is he saying the Earth is measured flat? Because it's not.
Because he believes that level is the same as horizontal.
No,
Same
that
thing.
doesn't make the Earth measured flat, Charles. That's ridiculous.
It's another way of expressing
It's
his
not.
belief
No,
in the
no,
flat
no,
Earth.
Charles. We have two statements. Flat, Earth is measured flat, and contradictory to that statement is Earth is measured not flat. Flat, not flat. This is contradiction.
So the question is, what does the word flat mean when he says it? And what's the
the
word
same
flat
thing-
mean when you say it? So because it's two different meanings, and that's the thing that you
No,
guys
no,
but
no,
you
no,
say
no.
street
Sorry,
is
sorry,
two-
Charles.
with,
Charles,
You say
we are
street is
using
two different
only
meanings,
one.
Charles.
Charles, we are using one meaning, and
No.
this meaning was used in Beth's argument when he was at Nathan Oakley's. So they discuss it. So they know both what in argument this flat means. And Nathan Oakley agreed that initially agreed that this argument is correct, and even he said on his own conclusion that therefore Earth is not flat because of measurement on vertical datum differences. So difference on vertical datum tells us that Earth is not flat.
Right.
So
but there are
this is
10,000 flat earthers across the globe who believe in a flat Earth, who also know that mountains and valleys exist.
okay, but
So the
still,
question is, what does the word flat mean to them? 'Cause it
No,
doesn't
Charles,
mean-
that isn't the
it doesn't
question. The
mean
question
perfect
is,
plane.
No.
why is Nathan Oakley stating that the Earth is measured flat when it's in direct
direct response to you.
contradiction to observable reality? That's the question. And then the extra
So-
question is, why are you here defending it?
No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that he's a flat earther, you're a flat earther, and you're just playing word games. That's all. I'm
No way. Charles,
No, I'm not a flat
I don't know
earther.
if you-
Can I just do a
I don't know if
super
you-
chat? Sorry.
Yeah.
Danger's put a thing in. Merry Christmas. This is probably good. on the level, headed home. I think we're having a baby tonight. Oh, guys, well done. I'll let you guys know how it goes. Well done. Thank you very much. Well, get in there. Danger.
It's awesome. Someone's having a baby. Tonight is actually my
Mojo
wife's
craft.
and my 16th anniversary, so I can't stay on too long because we're going to go out for an anniversary dinner. But no, that's great news. Somebody's having a baby. That's always monumental.
Hopefully, yeah.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, Charles, but the room has got a different name. Have you noticed?
It's called On the Level.
No.
It's called no. It's called the Symposium, right?
Oh, okay. So
the Symposium.
Yeah.
And the word before my name is Greek. You wouldn't have bothered to even check it. A lot of people think it's Russian and they sort of try to speak it. But anyway, it means symposiarch. Now, the symposiarch was what you might call a toastmaster kind of thing. And in the ancient Greek times, people got together in the symposium and they discussed all sorts of things. And some of them were deep things, and they drank some wine. And there was somebody that was a symposiarch who went around with the wine, and he had to judge, depending on the level of the conversation. On it was deemed to be a bit lower class to drink pure wine, so it was watered down, the wine, right? And the strength of it depended on the conversation. If it was a deep conversation, then they didn't want to get too drunk. So, but if it was, about sensual things, and you may well be here for sensual things, I don't know, then, the wine would be a little bit stronger. And it kind of led me to think and wondered, what actually informs you to be here? Whether you're informed by your faith, maybe, that leads you to bear witness to someone or to some faith, or are you here on behalf of men? Because this week you seem a little bit more aggressive, and it seems to be, I connected it a bit to the Scholasaurus blue marble thing. Suddenly this kind of urgency to clamp down on these subversives who have some geometric understanding. So, I just wondered what your purpose was here. What informs you to be here, in order that I can adjust the strength of the wine accordingly.
That's a great question. My purpose in being here is the same as my purpose has been for the last 16 years, and that is that, I would like to defend the truth. And when I see people who are either misunderstanding or they lack knowledge somehow, I'm a teacher, and like my number one goal is to lead people towards the truth. And so I'm happy to be a math teacher. I happen to know a bit about geometry. I also happen to know a bit about, how you can go outside and make careful measurements. I spend a lot of time designing the experiments that are on my channel, or explorations. And so my goal behind being here, and I've, different rooms have come and gone. There used to be Google groups. There used to be Google Hangouts was a thing. Now a bunch of people are using StreamYard. A bunch of people are on Discord. So, different groups have come and gone. And so I just kind of meander around, and I would not be here if Bev had not said, does anyone want to come in? Any Globers want to come in? So, I mean, it's like if Bev had not said, any Globers want to come in, I would never come here. Okay.
That ages ago said if anybody wants to come in, not particularly Globers, anyone.
Yeah, right. And you've rolled out the welcome mat, Bev, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you allowing me to be part of the conversation.
For anyone,
but,
even that Scholasaurus fella, the
yes.
Professor.
He didn't come.
Yeah. But
why didn't he come?
People have been telling him not to come. That's why.
Does that?
Did you speak to him, Charles? Isn't he a friend of yours, Charles?
No, never met him before. I mean, I've left a couple comments on his YouTube channel, and he's responded back. Oh, thanks for the comment. But I've never spoken to him, and
they were pretty negative towards this group of people. Your comments, I thought.
The comment that I most recently made was something along the lines of the Dunning-Kruger. It's like, Last night's show was a great example. People repeatedly saying that doesn't make any sense, or I don't understand that.
We can understand the
he's wrong.
contradiction. We pointed them out and said that's obviously
no contradiction.
nonsense.
There's
You
no
think that as a
contradiction.
you don't understand, don't you?
There's a no. You guys have literally said you don't understand, or you've said
No,
that makes
no.
no sense. Which
Yeah,
means
that
Blue
makes
has
no
edited
sense.
Yeah, makes no sense. It's
Nonsense.
different. Nonsense.
If you
So
can't
if it
make
makes
sense
no
of it,
sense-
Charles, then it is nonsense.
No,
Nonsense.
No, that's a lack. It's a lack of knowledge or skill, and that's where I
What,
come in. I try to
nonsense?
be a teacher.
You want to
No,
try and
you come in-
explain the
lack of knowledge or
nonsense,
skill.
do you?
No, lack of knowledge or skill. Okay.
No, I can point many contradictions and fallacies in his statement.
No,
in his
one of the
explanation. Yes, I
Our
can
paper.
point it out. I pointed out yesterday, and I can repeat. He said that spherical geometry is this space in spherical geometry is subset of a Euclidean space. He
Yes.
said that.
Yes.
So a subset cannot contradict the whole. I said this many times. Part cannot contradict the whole. So subset, in this subset, he is creating different laws of geometry. It is impossible. This is special pleading fallacy, if you know that, what it means.
Yes, and I think you're dead wrong there, because
No, I
if
am
you
right.
take a look. All right, so we all know what a sphere is. We all know that
He's
you know,
going to explain
Euclid
it
knew
now,
what a
right?
sphere was. Well, no, I just want to clarify what
You're going to
what's going
clarify
on
and,
here.
and explain the
Can-
nonsense that Paper's just
can I
explained.
respond?
Yeah.
Can I respond to
Yes,
paper,
please.
please? So a sphere, everybody knows what a sphere is, and you can define a sphere in purely Euclidean terms. X, Y, and Z, every point on the sphere has an X, Y, and Z coordinate. Just for simplicity's sake, you can say the center of the sphere is at the origin, 0, 0, 0, right? And you could do all kinds of Euclidean
The unit
geometry with
circle,
that
right?
sphere, right? You could do all kinds of Euclidean geometry.
Pi.
What you cannot do, paper, is you cannot use purely Euclidean methods to draw lines on that sphere. The Euclidean methods literally
wrong,
don't exist.
Wrong.
to-
Absolutely wrong.
All right,
Sorry,
to establish lines, right?
No, you cannot.
Establish the shortest path on that sphere from one point to another. There's literally no tools in Euclidean geometry for that task. Okay?
You can't draw lines on curved surface.
It's called
Yes,
a
you can.
compass.
Right. With a marker, right? You got a ball and you got a marker. But in using just the tools of Euclidean geometry, you take 2 points that are on the surface of that sphere, right? And they've got X, Y, Z coordinates. And you could say, what's the shortest distance between those 2 points using Euclidean methods, right? It's the difference of the X values squared plus the difference of the Y value squared, et cetera, et cetera. The distance formula, right? It's the chord, right? Take 2 points in the sphere. What's the shortest distance? It's the chord. It's a Euclidean straight line, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are no tools. There are no tools in Euclidean geometry that allow you to travel along the surface of that sphere from one point to the other and find the shortest distance. There's no tools. You have to invent another set of
3.14.
tools.
Isn't there a pi? Isn't that a ratio?
Pi is a number.
Right. Well, wouldn't the ratio be there though within Euclidean geometry to show
course,
the ratio
if you-
between the
great
diameter
circle.
to the circumference?
Right. The diameter.
why are
to
you
the
saying there's no
circumference, the diameter
tools?
to a great there are no tools to measure the length of a path that is on the surface of the sphere.
Right.
We have a
3.14.
tool. No,
You can't. You saying
no,
you can't
that's not
actually
a tool.
measure it
It's
because
not a tool. But the point I'm trying to
what's
make,
not
paper,
a tool,
is that
Charles?
pi is not a tool. Pi is a number. Okay, it's a constant.
It's the Euclidean geometry that's the tool that you're asking us.
Okay.
You're saying we
And there's
can't
no-
use it. Well, we
There's
can.
no
We
tool
come up with
in
pi.
Euclidean geometry. So there's no. All right. So I'm just gonna make something up. There's a point on your sphere that's 1, 0, 0.
You've already
There's
set
another
an
point on your
axis there,
sphere.
haven't you? You've already
There's-
set axis,
there's-
so
it's
you're
0,
already working
comma.
within a Euclidean framework.
we've already established this is a Euclidean sphere in Euclidean space with 3D coordinates, x, y, and z.
Well, of course, then you can
let's
use
not- let's not-
Euclidean, can't you?
So, okay. Instead of
I
interrupting,
don't know what you're trying to do, Charles.
the second, well, I'm giving you 2 points. One is 1, 0, 0. The other one is 0, 1, 0. And the question is, what is the length of the shortest path between those 2 points, restricting it to the surface of the sphere? Because
Why?
if you don't restrict it to the surface, it's a chord, and everyone knows how to find the distance formula using a chord, right? But what is
The
a lot
shortest
harder
distance between the 2
is
points.
the shortest path. right, the
Why do you
shortest
have to?
distance
Why
between
do you
2
have to
points.
imagine a sphere there?
Okay, the shortest distance.
Can you
between 2
explain
points
to me
is the
why
chord.
you have to imagine
Oh
the
my
sphere there for there to be a problem with the
literally
shortest
stop
distance between the
interrupting.
2 points?
It's just non-stop interrupting.
Charles, but you can say, instead of saying what you said, you can just say that this shortest distance on the sphere, on the surface of the sphere, is not the shortest distance. Because we
That
can
doesn't
have
tell-
shorter.
That doesn't give me a measurement, paper. It does not give me a measurement. Like I said, paper, there are no tools in Euclidean geometry to give the measurement of that distance on the surface of the sphere. So instead of just throwing up
Yes,
your
because-
hands and saying,
Yeah, but
we
there
don't know what the
is
distance
tools
is,
within Euclidean
they've
geometry,
invented new
Charles.
tools. I'm sorry?
There
What did you say?
is tools within Euclidean geometry. It's called
I never
Euclidean
said there weren't
geometry,
tools.
and it
I never
works
said there weren't
between
tools
the
in Euclidean
points.
geometry. What I said was there are no tools in Euclidean geometry to solve this problem.
Yes,
That's
they
what
are.
I said.
Yes, they are.
I'm sorry?
You,
I'm sorry.
you can calculate because you are talking about calculation, not
Yes.
measurement.
Calculation, fine. Do you
Yeah.
know the tool?
Yes, you can use pi, for example.
Pi is not a tool, it's a constant. Tell me how to find
Yes,
the distance.
and this
between 2 points.
constant is used to calculate distance or
How?
length, rather, not distance, length.
How?
It's just a ratio of all circles
I
within
know, but
Euclidean geometry, Charles.
doesn't-
Euclidean
that doesn't tell me the
geometry
distance.
is the tool.
I
Logic
will say
is the
I will say
language
this,
that we
paper.
express how to
Pi-
use this tool.
All right, I will say this, pi and bev. Pi is in the formula, but you haven't given me the formula. You haven't given me the tool. And the reason why is because it literally doesn't exist within Euclidean geometry. You have to invent a new set of tools that is built upon Euclidean geometry, and that is called spherical geometry.
It's built upon Euclidean geometry.
Yeah,
how
a
can it
number
be
of the
built
postulates-
upon it when it contradicts it?
It does not contradict. There's nothing in spherical geometry that contradicts Euclidean geometry. It's a matter of context. All right, and Euclidean geometry does not have the tools for traveling along the surface of a sphere. Euclidean geometry has wonderful tools for lines, for planes, for solids. There's an amazing set of tools in Euclidean geometry. But once you try to travel along the surface of a sphere, there are no tools. There are literally no tools in Euclidean geometry for traveling along the surface of a sphere.
Compass.
So you have to invent a new
You
set
know a
of tools.
compass, Charles?
And that's called
Have you
spherical
seen a
geometry.
compass?
You're changing the subject. That is called spherical geometry.
Traveling along.
It's a set of tools.
Traveling
It's a
along
set of tools
a curve
to
at an
perform
equal
analysis
distance from
for working with
the center
geometric
point.
shapes that are all on the surface of a sphere.
Would you class
one
the
of these
compass as
tools-
traveling along that?
Yeah, so one of these tools, Bev,
Well,
is dealing with
the
spherical
ratio of
triangles.
pi, innit? They're always
Right? And
Charles,
spherical
Charles,
triangles
like you
are
said.
not planar triangles.
Charles, we are talking about, you are talking about great circle, I
Mm-hmm.
assume, and a great circle is just a circle. So it has pi, it has radius, diameter.
Absolutely. No one
Circumference.
disagrees with that.
So we have tools. You said we,
Yeah, but
we
you
don't
haven't
have.
Have
given me the
Euclidean
distance.
geometry as the tool to define the circle,
You haven't
the
given me the
straight
distance
lines.
between those 2 points, the formula for the distance between those 2 points. You
You
have
haven't
not
given
me
us
that.
the radius.
No, you are talking about
radius is
path.
one.
Just conceptual.
You are talking about path between, you are
On-
going because you are talking about traveling. So
Yes,
you are
on the
talking about
surface of the
path,
sphere,
length of this section of the line or circumference. We have tools. Yes, we have tools.
No, there are no tools in Euclidean geometry for that.
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely they are. Yes,
Oh
you
my
can you can calculate length of that.
So what you would
circumference.
Could use
paper,
pi, couldn't you?
is you would need to
Radians.
know. You would need to know
Could
the
use
circumference,
radians,
but you
couldn't
would
you,
also need
Charles?
to know the central angle. All right.
Do you not
and
consider
Euclidean
radians
geometry
as
does
being
not have the tools
Euclidean,
for that.
Charles? Do you consider
sorry.
radians as being Euclidean?
That's a ridiculous question. That's kind of like saying, do I consider centimeters to be Euclidean? Right? It's just a measuring standard.
Well, is
You
the
can measure
radius
length.
Euclidean? Because it's technically
The
not
radius.
in Euclid, right? It just mentions the diameter.
The diameter. Okay.
Yeah.
So
right. So would you class a radian as being a Euclidean?
oh my goodness. The question is a non sequitur. The question
and
is
by the way,
literally does not make any sense.
It is sequitur because you said that it is like talking about centimeter. Meter is Greek word. It is Greek measurement.
How about furlongs, right? Furlongs. That's a measurement of length, right?
Is a radian a measurement around the circumference? Charles?
Oh my goodness.
Charles,
So
answer the
a
question,
radian-
please.
A radian is an angular measurement, just like degrees. People can
Angular?
measure
No.
angles
A degree
using
is an
degrees.
angular measurement. A radian is
Oh
a
my
distance of a radian, isn't it?
Oh my-
Relating
you
to.
said a radian. A radian is a distance of a radian. That
Yeah,
does
it's
not make any
it's
sense.
equivalent to the radius
A
in
radian-
length, but it is on the circumference of the
So where is-
circle, Charles.
So where is this radian measured?
It's that bit exactly where you measure it, right?
Exactly where you measure. No, I'm
Do
asking
you
where
not? Do you
measure.
know what a radian is, Charles?
I know exactly what a radian is.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
think
So
you
it's
do.
a relationship between the radius and the
Yes.
distance travelled around the circumference of the circle. Now, you're
But where do you
saying
measure the
we
radian?
have
That's the
no
question.
way to deal with that in Euclid, and I'm asking you:
No,
do
that's-
you
I never said that.
consider the
never said
radian a Euclidean measurement or not, Charles?
It's a non sequitur. It's kind of like saying, is an inch Euclidean or is
No,
a
it's
centimeter
not, Charles.
Euclidean?
You're
They're both
asking
measures of
us
length.
to measure the distance of the arc on the circumference, and I'm asking you, do you consider a radian Euclidean?
The question literally doesn't make sense.
Can you remember asking
radian-
us
a
or
radian-
telling us,
a-
Charles,
a-
that there was no
radian-
way to use Euclidean geometry to measure a distance on the
yes, that's correct.
circumference of a sphere?
No, I never said on the circumference. I said between 2 points. If I give you 2 points, if I give you 2 points, and you know that they're on the surface of the sphere, and I say, what is the shortest path on the surface of that sphere between those 2 points?
Would you
there's no tools in
consider a
Euclidean geometry.
radian a Euclidean measurement, Charles?
It's a measure of an angle. Okay, it is also used to measure an arc in terms of the proportion
Okay,
of the
so that
circumference,
would fit
okay?
the bill then for the measurement of the very distance you've just talked about.
No. It's because you have
you're
to.
a sophist,
how-
Charles.
How are you going to establish
Obvious.
the circumference? that passes between those 2 points?
If we know radius, so we know diameter, then
Okay.
and we have pi. So you are using. We know what if we know what section in degrees it is of the circle.
Pi radians.
I'm not giving you that. That's the thing. I'm not giving you that. I'm not giving you any angle.
Even
I'm giving you X,
the
Y, Z
professor of the
of
mathematics
1
thing
point.
was using pi radians when he was trying to work out how many angles there would be in the
Because
spherical
using
triangle,
radians.
right? So
was using
that's what he
radians
was
as a measure
using.
of
Now,
angle.
is that Euclidean?
But
Charles.
Paper was saying that with this challenge that I've given you,
Is
where I
pi
give you 2 points,
radians Euclidean
where-
measurement, Charles?
I've answered that 5 times now. When
Yeah, so
I
yes,
I
you've just
give you
contradicted yourself, Charles.
I have not. When I give you 2 points,
Oh, you can't see the
surface of
contradictions anyway.
X,
We
Y,
like
and
to
Z.
think.
When I
X, Y, Z,
If I-
Cartesian
X, Y, Z, point
coordinates
number
perpendicular
one,
to
X,
each
Y,
other.
Z Cartesian coordinates for point number 2. If I give you those 2 points, there are no tools in Euclidean geometry to measure the distance on the surface of
Not
the
the radian.
Well, you can measure an arc length in radian, but you're welcome to try. But the thing is, what I have not given you, Paper, is I have not given you the circle that passes between those 2 points.
But we
It is
have
lying-
the circle because we have radius. You said that.
Yes, I'm telling you the
So
circle is
if we
radius
have
1
if we
and
have
centered on the
radius,
origin.
so we have length of this circumference.
Yes, you can tell me the circumference. If I tell you radius is 1, you can definitely tell me the circumference. You cannot tell me the distance between those 2 points, though. That's the problem.
Yes, because
They're in his head. He keeps moving them.
radiant. Yes, we have
No, I'm
angle.
not moving anything. The center of the circle is at 0, 0, 0, and the radius is 1. Okay?
It's a really weird maths question, this, Charles.
Well,
that I don't know whether you've stumped yourself with it or what.
It's a weird math question.
It's a weird way of you getting out
don't-
of defending Nathan Oakley, saying that the Earth's measured flat.
Oh my goodness. He thinks the Earth is shaped like a pizza. And
I don't know what he thinks. I can only go off what he says, and he says the Earth is measured flat, and I say that's ridiculous. But you came in here to defend him saying that.
No.
Have you got any scripture that backs up your stuff, then, Charles?
So
You got any
yeah, I'm not gonna,
scripture,
I'm not gonna
global
feed into
scripture?
into your religious bigotry.
It's not bigotry at all, no, because it's being it is being promoted.
Paper,
and scripture is being used for the shape of the Earth.
Not by me.
Does Charles actually think the Earth is measured flat?
He must do.
That's
So
insane.
getting back to Paper's
Or
question,
2D. He might think
Paper's
2D.
original
in a
statement.
similar sort.
Charles,
Paper's original statement.
My
Well, it's actually measured not
Charles,
2D.
wait.
Made a contradiction, and I'm
No,
trying to
no,
explain
Charles.
Scholar Sauce made no contradiction.
Let's get this sorted. So, Bev was talking about radiant or radiant. Yes. So, is it Euclidean or spherical geometry?
It is a. The question makes no sense. A radian is a measure of angular measurement, just like degrees.
No, a degree is an angular measurement.
And so is a radian.
A radian is a distance.
A radian is an angular measurement.
You are using you have this angle. If you have angle and you have radius,
You can express it as a radian, which is a portion of a radian, right? To how how long the radian is. It's a length measurement, exactly like Charles has been talking about.
I've been playing with spreadsheets.
Yeah,
and
the radian, the name of it is because it's related to the radius, which of course is Euclidean.
Well,
they
that's
force
debatable,
all
isn't
the
it?
angles to be
Whether
measured in
actually the
radians.
radius is in there.
Okay, but
Well, it's half of a diameter, right?
Yes, Charles. Let's get with this number because you said the radius 1. No, it would be easier that diameter is 1. So let's say that radius is
The radius is half.
Yeah, it's that debate that guy was going on
So now-
about. It's
so now
tau.
we're changing.
Do you go with tau?
We're changing the size.
Do you
of the
prefer
circle.
tau?
I don't have a problem with that. Okay, I don't have a problem with that.
Do you prefer tau
So
though, Charles?
now- Oh my goodness.
Oh, your goodness.
Charles, if we have radius being half and we have angle 90 degree, therefore,
I'm not giving you
yes, between 2 points.
I'm not giving you any angles. I'm giving you 3 points. I'm giving you 2 points on the surface of the sphere. I'm not giving you any angles whatsoever. And the
Euclidean.
question is, how do you find the distance along the surface of the sphere, the path that's between those 2 points? And there are no tools in Euclidean geometry to accomplish this task. So therefore, there is no contradiction in what Scholar Sauce said.
So do you think what Scholar Sauce was saying was pretty much correct? Have you watched that video with Blue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get an invite
Yeah,
to go over there when they were doing it?
I did not, but I didn't ask for an
that's a
invite.
shame.
But I will say
I
this:
bet you didn't
Scholar
even know
Sauce
about
is-
it, did you? Or did
Scholar
you know
Sauce's
about it
knowledge-
beforehand?
Scholar Sauce's knowledge is way, way, way more than mine. So I was able to understand about 95% of what he said. But when he started getting into the Einsteinian stuff, then
Well,
you
I
know,
don't
also
think
the
we've got-
manifolds,
we've not
multidimensional
got up to that
manifolds.
yet.
You know,
Don't.
I don't understand multidimensional manifolds because I have not gone terribly far with mathematics.
Did you understand the contradictions he was going over at the beginning?
Well, he did not make any contradictions. I'll say that. I'll tell you that.
He did.
There
He
were no
contradicted
contradictions.
himself many times.
He did not contradict himself once. Now, I did hear you guys claiming he was making contradictions, and you were either restating or misquoting him or mischaracterizing what he said, and then calling it a contradiction.
What about the 540-degree triangle then? What about that?
I don't think he brought that up. I thought you brought that up.
No, he said 3 by 180, didn't he? He did a PhD Tony
he
classic
said three,
mistake.
He said 3 by 90.
No, 3
It
by
was 270.
180, 540.
No, he did.
Yeah.
No, that
540.
was you that
He
brought
did.
that up.
No,
that was you that brought that up.
absolutely certain. He says 3 by 180.
Yes, he said that. Yes.
So,
Yesterday,
all right, so I must have missed that portion. But
What do you think about that then? What do you think about the chair of the mathematics department of University?
I did not hear that
Utah
portion,
Valley,
so
stating
I'd have to-
a 540-degree triangle when he was trying to imagine it, right? He thought it was
I
3
did
by
not hear that
180.
part.
3 pi, he did, because pi, obviously, he considers pi as being 180. Doesn't he? You'd be the same as well, would you? Because of the 2 pi. Right? Using the radius. Because like Paper said earlier, if you were to use the diameter, then pi would be the complete circle. But you use pi as being the 180, don't you? Like he did. When he said 3 pi. He was calculating, he was working out in his head how many angles was the maximum triangle on a sphere, and he said 3 pi. But then he sort of said, well, might be 5, possibly 5 pi, which is a lot, isn't it?
So
900. I mean, he could go. Could you go to the full 1080?
I did not.
Tony
hear any
Hawk the shit out of that.
And I did hear you guys accusing him of making contradictions. For example, latitude as
Do you not think that's a contradiction for the mathematical chair to think
where did he say
540-degree triangle's got 3 180-degree angles? I mean, can you imagine a triangle with 180 degrees?
You're gonna keep asking me about
3 times 180. Can you imagine that triangle?
I didn't hear that part of the conversation.
Can you imagine it though? I'm asking you. How good is your imagination?
Yeah. Well,
on,
I do know that you take as a specialty about misquoting and mischaracterizing what people say. So,
well, would you be surprised if he did actually say it? And like, presuming he did, like, let's play a game. Like, let's say he didn't. Can you imagine a triangle with 3 180-degree angles?
No, I'm not going to play that game. But
no, I know. It's hard, isn't it?
One of the big areas where you talked about that he made a contradiction.
Can you imagine a 540-degree triangle in any form? Like, would you divide the angle by 3, total by 3?
So I think Paper said that he had a spherical triangle.
Do all of your spherical triangles have equal angles? Are they all equiangular?
Line of latitude. Do you remember saying that, Paper?
Yes, and by the way, we are talking about geographical latitude and geographical longitude. And
yeah, but do you remember saying that he made a contradiction because he was using a spherical triangle where one of the sides of the spherical triangle was the line of latitude? Do you remember saying that?
Yes, if this latitude is not equator, it is not straight line.
Right. It's not, or it's not even a geodesic.
Not great circle.
Yes, it's not a great circle.
Has to be a
But
great
the problem
circle,
is
hasn't
he
it?
never
That's
made
why
such a
they have
claim.
to have equiangular, I think.
The problem, Paper, is
Is that
he
right?
never
At
made that claim.
least.
He
At least
never
isosceles
ever said
type.
a line of
Spherical.
latitude was a great circle, accepting the
Spherical
equator.
isosceles.
So
Or
this part
spherical
about a
equiangular.
spherical triangle, right? A spherical triangle where one you get one line of longitude, another line of longitude, and then you've got a line of latitude, and that makes what you called a spherical triangle. That's not a spherical triangle if it's not the equator. And he never made it. He never made that claim. But you said he contradicted himself because of that reason. That's one of the many things that you called a contradiction. And then he clarified it. He like, you paused the video, said it was a contradiction. You unpaused the video, and then in his next breath, he said the line of latitude was not a great circle.
They're perpendicular.
Yes,
you guys
he
just
said
went.
They're
You guys just went on
perpendicular is what
like
Blue
nothing
said.
happened.
They're
Latitude
perpendicular,
and
aren't they?
longitude are perpendicular.
Yeah. That's what we
Does
said.
not
That's
make
one of
a
the
line-
contradictions, Charles.
There's no contradiction between
Perpendicular is the
line of
relationship
latitude and longitude.
Two
between
straight
are perpendicular.
lines to one and another.
No.
Yeah, that's
not
what
correct.
perpendicular is.
No.
That's
Perpendicular
why
is-
it's a
is meeting at
contradiction,
right angle.
Charles.
It's not a contradiction, but it wasn't a claim that he made. That's the whole point.
Because he imagines them
Yes,
as circles, and
I know what you are.
perpendicular.
Yeah, I know what you are talking about, Charles. But still, in Euclid, we have length, which is longitude. This is literally longitude,
Well, no,
because
length
it is
not longitude.
Latin word, and this Latin word means length,
Yeah.
Okay, but
and latitude is breadth.
I've got a
Right.
book here,
right,
Charles.
so but etymology of
No,
words
no.
does not mean
And
that's
by,
the definition
yes,
till the end of time.
I am not talking now about etymology. I am talking about meaning of the word.
That's
And
etymology.
in school, when I was taught geography, in any handbook, there is no such thing as longitude and latitude. It is
I'm sorry that you
geographical.
weren't
Sorry, geographical latitude and geographical longitude.
I'm sorry.
Always.
You were not taught. in
I was
geography.
taught not about longitude and latitude on maps, but about geographical latitudes and geographical longitudes.
That sounds like a lot of
Always,
syllables.
always with that description, geographical.
So
Why?
that
Because
geo-
they are
that's
different.
5 extra syllables.
Because
That's 5 extra
longitude,
syllables.
sorry, longitude in normal term is just straight line.
So
Yes,
So
and
when they're talking
latitude
about, like,
is
where is Warsaw? Where's Warsaw? They never said where's the latitude and longitude of Warsaw. They said where's the geographical latitude and where's the geographical longitude. That's 10 extra syllables.
it doesn't matter.
If you're talking about a map and you say latitude and longitude, literally everybody knows what you mean without having to use the word geographical.
You're trying to ridicule him, Charles.
So
Charles?
we know that
Charles.
geographical latitude and geographical longitude, they are not the same as latitude and longitude, for example, in Euclid. Let's get
Right,
it
'cause he-
sorted.
Yeah,
use
look, it
latitude
says
and
there.
longitude.
It says I've just posted a picture there, Charles. That's Euclid, and it says a line is longitude without latitude, and a superficies
of
is
course,
that
and
which
the- and
hath
the con-
only
right, and that context-
longitude and latitude,
Okay,
and
so that's
those
exactly
are
what-
perpendicular, aren't they?
That's exactly what paper was saying, and
Right
what I was
angles.
talking about
Why,
is the surface
Charles,
of the
Charles,
Earth when we're
why were
using
you
the word
ridiculing,
latitude
Charles?
and longitude on the surface of the Earth.
No,
Why were you
so you are
ridiculing
talking.
paper, Charles?
Spherical triangle.
So on the surface of the sphere, we
Yes,
can
surface of
have
a sphere,
only
globe.
geographical latitude and geographical longitude.
Okay,
And
so the
they
context-
are, yes, and they are not perpendicular because they are on the surface of the sphere.
No,
Oh
they
no,
are
it's
to the
imagined
north.
as being on the surface
They-
of
they
the
are
sphere. Like
perpendicular.
these are
They-
just
you can
they're
form-
just
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about longitude and latitude. They as though they are perpendicular, right? They
Yes.
can't imagine that they are on the surface of a sphere if they're saying longitude and latitude are perpendicular, can they?
So
Can you, Charles?
part of the problem.
It's like
part of
it's
the
not
problem is that
logical for you to imagine that you're on the surface of a sphere and then say longitude and latitude are perpendicular, because that doesn't
They
make
are.
sense, Charles.
And we are.
That's
Yes, it does.
contradictory.
It is not contradictory.
It is.
So for
It's
starters,
not rational
if you
to
go to
believe.
the
Ask
Greenwich
Betty.
meridian, you'll have a line like etched in the concrete. It'll say this is the prime meridian, and then you'll have a line that is etched at 90 degrees to that, indicating the local latitude.
Yeah,
And
it's not
those two
rational to
lines will be
believe
at
that
right
you've got
angles.
straight lines, Charles, and then that you
I
live
I
on
never
a
called them
ball.
straight
It's
lines.
not
I
rational.
never called them straight lines.
Ask Betty.
I never called them straight
You
lines.
did. You called them
Okay.
perpendicular.
Okay, so that's a great example of this. I said perpendicular, and you said you just said straight lines.
Yes,
no,
they are.
I said perpendicular. Oh my
You think
goodness!
that's
See,
funny?
It's when you because you
Yeah, perpendicular are straight lines, definitely. It's in the
mischaracterize
definition.
people, and you don't even know that you're doing it.
No, no.
Charles, you just did it.
Perpendicular
Charles.
is the definition of two
It's not.
straight lines intersecting at 90 degrees.
Okay, and
That's
that's
how
not the only usage
perpendicular
of perpendicular.
is defined. So when
No,
you say
it's not.
perpendicular,
That is
you
not
are
how
saying
perpendicular is
two
defined.
straight lines at
Nope.
right angles to each other. That's what you're literally saying
Yep.
within the definition.
Euclid
Absolutely.
Disagrees with you in book 11.
No,
So
he
there's
just
that.
defines that in book 1, Charles.
In book 11, he then disagrees with you,
Charles.
right? Because
Nope.
in book
Charles,
11,
Charles,
he
you're an arrogant
he
man.
describes a line perpendicular to a plane. So no, the word perpendicular
When
is not
that straight
defined
line is
as
perpendicular
a
to
straight
every
line
straight line
only
within
between
that
straight
plane.
lines. That's part of the
Yeah, you
definition.
can't understand that.
Let-
It's
Let him read it out loud. It's posted in live chat. Let him read it out loud, verbatim.
Go on, Charles, please.
Oh, I'm not going to play that game.
Charles.
LOL,
Read it,
Charles.
Charles.
You're so bad at this.
Go,
Read it, Charles.
Go.
Chicken.
Do it. You can do it.
Read it, Charles.
Read it for me.
Char-
Come on, jump higher.
Charles,
jump.
why did you laugh at Paper, Charles, and ridicule him?
I
Because
didn't
he was.
ridicule him.
Yes, you did. You did.
And by the
You
way,
did. I
you
listened
are
to you
still
laugh
wrong.
at him and go on about how many more. Shut up. How many more letters he was talking about? He was telling you about how he was taught, in what context he was taught about longitude and latitude. Exactly the way I see it. I never knew anything about longitude and latitude apart from how it related to something on a globe. And all you can do is laugh and try to ridicule something. You're an arrogant man. Yes, that's what I heard you do.
And by the
I'm
way,
calling you out.
Charles, by
Don't
the
do
way,
it.
That is
by the way,
100% incorrect.
Charles, on Mercator projection, these lines, geographical latitude and geographical longitude, they are perpendicular on Mercator projection. But
Yes,
this
and
is,
they are
let's
also on
say,
the
a
globe.
flat projection or flat map. You can
Yes,
even say
lines of latitude and longitude are always perpendicular to each other. Doesn't
But-
matter the size of the map. Could be a
but
globe,
this
it could be a
Mercator
local map.
projection is a plane.
Well, wait a
So,
minute. Are latitude lines east and west?
Yes.
And are longitude lines north and south?
Yes.
And they, north and south and east and west, are perpendicular to each other as well,
Yes,
aren't
everyone
they?
knows this. Yes, everybody knows this.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. So I got to go pretty soon because my wife and I are going to go on our anniversary dinner. But it was always good talking with you guys.
That's too bad. I was just going to show the definition that shows it's a logical progression and not a redefinition of perpendicular. But
I
yeah,
never
you
claimed
gotta
to be a
go. So
redefinition.
that's
But anyway,
that's too bad.
so
Best you're not
take
here
care,
for that, Charles.
Paper, Air to Bear. Take care, Sarah Gaki and Bev. I really appreciate your hospitality, Bev. As
Yeah,
always.
thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
I hope
Have
you.
a
I hope
great
you can
weekend.
get on with Scholar Source because that would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a really interesting conversation.
Would you consider doing a debate on Jeranism, debatism?
Yes,
Would you?
absolutely. Debatism. Yes,
Right.
I've been thinking about that. Like,
Okay.
what would be my 3 points? Yes, I definitely would.
Okay, right. Well,
Oh my
let's
goodness,
think
thank
about
you.
it. Like, I'm trying to get a false dichotomy thing going. So,
Okay.
Yeah. I know. Do you
Right,
reckon
maybe
you
we
and
can-
Scholar Source might want to team up? Do you reckon?
No, I don't like team debates. I would much rather do my own thing. So.
Okay.
All right.
All
Hey,
right.
you guys have been great. Thanks for the
All right.
conversation.
See you
care.
later.
All right, bye-bye.
See you later.
Wow, I just came in at the end of that. Lucky me.
Perpendicular.
They cannot handle
that was great.
perpendicular.
Uh-huh.
And
He
there
didn't
it
even
is.
want to read it. He didn't even want to read it. Why do you think? Why do you
Because
think
it
that
says
was?
straight
He said he-
lines. It literally
Oh, he's-
says straight lines.
Well, he said he didn't
Yep.
want to play that game. What game do you think he was referring to?
Truth.
Yeah, I think it's the word game. I think it goes to Wittgenstein and word games.
Mm.
I think that literally is what he's talking about in his mind there, because that's when they learned how to do this last little trick. Play with the words.
You know, it's one thing that he placates it as a game. When it's not a game, we're being direct with him.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, he's wrong about this definition in book 11, because in book 11, when he is talking about a plane, in fact, he's talking about
the straight lines within the plane. Yeah.
within the plane. So
Exactly.
He states that every line which lies within this plane will be perpendicular to that line.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
is so it is talking about lines
It's just a sophist.
being perpendicular.
It's just a sophist
Yeah.
that had
Absolutely.
to run away before he could get called on his blatant sophistry. Within
And
the very trade that he professes to teach.
he knew it was coming because I have personally gone over this with him in a live stream in excruciating detail before.
Did he call
he
it a
knows.
Jabberwocky?
Yeah.
He was like,
So,
pained
you know,
him that much. He considered it a Jabberwocky.
it's insane. So he knew it was coming, so he was just preparing to leave because he knew he brought up the definitions for perpendicular, and inevitably that meant that he was going to make this claim that he'd made before, and we're going to go over the definition which contradicts him, and then he can't have that, so just prepare to leave beforehand. Bye, Charles.
So in this definition, of course, this perpendicular line is, let's say, hitting the plane, and in this point, would be the center of radial lines, because he is talking about lines meeting, so they have to meet. So it is, let's say, center of like circle, and radial lines or diameters or whatever. But still, and this is why you can say that this line is perpendicular to a plane, because it is perpendicular to all of them, of that lines meeting with that line on that plane.
Which
So
shows,
this is the cause.
which shows that the plane is indeed 2D.
Yeah.
Right? There's no curvature to that plane within the definition.
If it was, it would be not perpendicular.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all built upon proof upon proof upon proof. And by the time you get to this point at book 11, this is where you can relate this to reality. So this is what book Euclid's all about, because the actual proofs can be proved within masonry and planning and, you know, surveying, land measurement, all of that sort of stuff can actually be proved within this. But now at book 11, you've already got a foundation of where that came from, the knowledge to lead you up to a sure proof of something tangible in reality. It's a beautiful system. But Charles has lost it somewhere. The most contradictory person I've ever known. You can't see the contradiction of trying to straighten a curve or curve a straight. I don't know. It's something that happens in the mind. Broken minds.
So Charles came in here saying the Earth is measured flat. That's incredible, considering he argues that it's a globe the entire time.
Yeah. It's always strange who defends whom within this.
Is that not contradictory?
Well, Brenda. Brenda defended the flat Earth as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is different flatness. It is flat being not flat at the same time. So, and Charles was defending that diletism, let's say, because of course you cannot have flat being not flat. It is contradiction in terms. So.
Yeah.
But they can. It's 2023. Come on. Flat earthers and globe earthers alike both want to have blatant contradictions and then say, well, you know what we mean. Like, no, it's nonsense. How could anybody possibly know what you mean? So we got a super chat in here. Gord's says, Merry Christmas, Charles, from all of us at OTL. Lol. Just joking. Merry Christmas, Bev and the OTL crew from me. That's Gord's. Happy Christmas, Gord's.
Merry Christmas.
I'm struggling to see the difference at the minute, other than the turkey and the ham we've got in there. That I'm going to have to cook as well. I mean, it just gets harder with work. But I mean, not much different than that.
The thing is, you're just not allowed to not be a flat earther or a glober. You've got to be one of these people. And like Scholar Source was directing his whole thing at flat earthers, and Charles coming in and saying you are flat earthers, despite what anybody might tell him.
Yeah.
And thinks that we are saying that the Earth has been measured flat. When that's the exact challenge we stand on. How the hell did you do that?
It's backwards, isn't it?
There he
Everything.
is.
It's when you get
Supporting
into this,
Oakley.
you realise that everything's backwards, and you wonder, you wonder how you get here, but then you realise that they're just backwards. They do everything completely opposite to what you'd think.
Purposefully, that's so.
Rational mind. No, I don't think it is. I think.
You don't think it's purposeful?
I think this is special. This is special minds put in this position. Not everybody can do what Charles does. They can.
You think they're striving for clarity here?
I think Charles is literally. He can't see any of the contradictions. He's willing to just blast straight on through. I think Charles is a strange combination of globe religion and an actual religion. And when you put both of these together, that's the perfect storm.
Yes,
I think
I understand.
That's Charles, and possibly
I understand.
Possibly this mathematician.
Yeah. I understand what you're
saying.
Let me posit something else though, because you say that Charles can't see contradictions, yet he was the one who said that he wouldn't play that game by reading what Sergaki put in the live chat. So to me, he knows that it's a contradiction. He just doesn't want to say it's a contradiction. He knows it, but his faith in his God, not the one that he professes through his religion, but the one that he professes through the religion he doesn't actually confess with his mouth, that being the monad. He can't, right? He can't say those words that Sergaki posted in the live chat. This has always been a psychological thing. These people know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They know that they're contradicting, but they have to say that they're not contradicting. I don't know that they actually believe it, though. I really don't know that they do. I mean, maybe they do, but...
Well, He was defending Nathan Oakley. He was the guy that he said that he came up with flat Earth debate before Nathan Oakley. So there's a chance that, you know, they're all connected.
Yeah, I think he was also representing for Scholar Source and Blue Marble.
He says
he had a little bit more.
He doesn't know him, right? He doesn't know that guy, unless like that's what he's doing.
No,
He's
no, but he,
you know, attempting to fluff
he
it.
watched the thing, and he, you know, he's there here in support of that, in support of Scholar Source and everything he says. You know, he has a kind of a different kind of forcefulness about his voice this week.
But not Euclid.
I just found him pretty arrogant. He pissed me off. You know.
But not Euclid on record. Noted.
No. Yeah.
Blue Marble. Just let me check this. Put me glasses on. In case Arwin's listening. So you can't show how Scholar Source was wrong when he proved spherical triangles have to have more than pi radians internally. Bev. Blue Marble Science. He didn't even super chat that, and I read it out. Oh, that's how privileged you are, Blue Marble Science. You're doing well defending this university chair. How much did it cost, Blue? Or did you, you know, like, did you sign up to the religion and this was like a bonus deal? Because I heard there's a lot of this religious talk at the minute within the Earth shape debate. You can imagine Blue Marble up on stage, couldn't you, with one of these Dean Odell? Bring them up there, you know, special guests.
You know, I know Blue only brings up the spherical triangle because he thinks there are curved lines
He's
involved.
the spherical pie man. Literally,
Yeah.
Google spherical pie, and Blue Marble Science is the foremost expert on it. Top search on Google. And if you do it, right, and click on his video, then it'll only get more popular. And now he's got university professors coming round talking about spherical geometry. He could end up being one of the leading figures in globe mathematics. We could be in the presence of greatness. A literal living shadow giant of the mathematical realm. Obviously, non-logical mathematics.
What were you explaining there, Saragaki?
Oh, yeah. Blue only brings up the spherical triangle because he thinks that this involves curved lines, and so therefore he can claim angles between curves and straight lines. But of course, this obviously only shows his misunderstanding about spherical triangle, that these are three separate planes within a sphere and has nothing to do with curved lines whatsoever. And, you know, he's speaking from ignorance, basically. That's my only point.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, happy Christmas, Blue, from all of us here, I think. I really like the idea of you going and doing more of these things. I like the way you add Betty on to religify the globe, and this one here is pushing your name forward as the aforementioned expert on spherical pi. The constant. No, not the not constant. That'd be not pi the constant, pi the not constant, spherical one. Makes sense, doesn't it? This is future maths. We
Nope,
go
this
beyond
must make sense.
new modern maths. We can do future maths. We can predict what's going to happen. It has to be. Can't get away from it. That's how advanced we are.
I cannot still imagine how half of the great circle can be the diameter of great circle. It is just, I cannot imagine that. Because we know what half of the circle is. And this is half of the circle. And we know what diameter is. So diameter is cutting the circle and dividing into two halves. So I don't know how someone can imagine half of the circle being diameter of the same circle.
Yeah, because you have to imagine half of the circle as being pi, don't you? When you change it to the radius, from the diameter to the radius gives you as half of the circle. And then if you still relate in pi to that, then you relate the radius half to half of the circumference, which would be the semicircle. Pi, since pi r, there's 2 pi r.
Yeah, so it doesn't compute completely. So spherical pi is just another nonsense invented by spherical geometers.
Yep. You get pi r squared, right? It's the pi related to the r. That's just, you know, it's within all of the formulas. Not pi related to d. That's just the circumference. So, like, within this idea of mathematics, you can literally swap the full circle to the semicircle. And that's why they consider pi radians there to be 2 pi radians within a circle. It's just mathematics. But what you're doing is you're just relating it to pi and r, aren't you? Like, but pi already contains r twice. So it's a bit of a mathematical trick within itself. Call it circular, if you will. But it's just maths. You get all mixed up with numbers and letters and formulas and stuff. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep, but I mean, if you do want to come in to the Discord and discuss any of this, we call it advanced simplicity because it is. It's taking the mathematics and placing it in a realm that's hopefully much simpler. But yeah, I think so there's a lot of these things that you just have to wrap your head around. But that means you've got a bit of work to do mathematically to try and understand the relationship between a straight line and a circle. But it's just the distance between 2 points, really. I think that's geometry and how logic works. Just how expression of how you can maneuver those 2 points in relation to either themselves or other points and relate these things together. Can either do it and talk about it, or you can try and confuse people like these Mormon mathematicians. And I say that because I think there's a possibility that the religion has combined. It's like religion squared, and the things it does to the mind. If you allow a contradiction in, it's as though this religion squared can compound the contradiction and use it as a positive thing. He came in, didn't he? He came in saying that we spotted a nonsense, and he saw that as a reason to start learning, to understand the nonsense. It's like he's trying to understand the not that, because it has to be, and gaining pleasure out of doing that. Could that be it? Could there be he gains personally from imagining that he's solved a problem that seems like nonsense to people, but he can solve it?
I would say on ground of logic it is impossible, but referring to religion, in religion, you cannot verify that, let's say, this religion is true. You have to believe in authority. But it doesn't say that it is contradictory. Religion doesn't assume that what you believe in is nonsense. Because, and by the way, you cannot verify that. But here we have like religion with nonsense. So you are worshipping nonsense. This is different kind of religion, I would say. I would say that this is anti-religion, because true religion is assumed to be true, and this dogmatic model and spherical geometry, it is based on nonsense. So we can say that it cannot be true. So there is no reason to believe. But this is weird religion, and in different sense that I know the meaning of the word religion, because faith is based also and uses reason, because otherwise you wouldn't know why you are believing. Because if someone is asking why I believe this, so someone at least can admit that he believes, because for him it sounds plausible.
Is it not like making a mockery of the religion, though? Like, much like
I
Nathan
think
Oakley is
so.
making a mockery of flat earthers, right? When he says his stupid stuff, or QE giving them really bad arguments. Is this not making a mockery of religion in a way? But I suppose every other religion would think that of every other religion, would they not?
Possibly, yeah.
Because it seems like it's all about division. So just as all of the religions have been fragmented into, as many different things as there are, I think that's what's coming, right? Geometry, logic, all of this, flat earth or whatever, everything's just going to be fragmented into tiny groups. And that way, everything can keep separated. I think that's the way of the future. Then you can just pump stuff people full of the given narrative on the, the people the big people, the ones that get promoted. Push their narrative, and that way you can push any narrative you want. nobody else actually is going to have much chance in it. Going to be some tough times coming, I think. But the religion thing is sort of, I would consider, one of the worst betrayals, because that's where you're meant to go, isn't it? For the, you know, for your final solace or whatever. That's within people, and now if you start chipping away at that sort of stuff, where's that going to leave society?
Did Charles have? I came late, so did Charles have a any comment on the recent Inquisition?
But when Erdbear attempted to bring it up, he said he's not going to play part in that religious bigotry. So whether that's like a given narrative to not get involved with other people type things, I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it. Perhaps it's one of those topics that shall be avoided.
Perhaps.
Yeah. The Flat Earth Church, but he did come in to defend the Earth being measured flat.
Yeah, quite hard.
Yeah. Because we were talking about, you know, how that is going to give flat earthers a bad name, because the flat earthers have to defend that now. And Charles,
who is defending now?
Defend it.
Not flat earthers, flat earth math.
Yeah, flat earth math's defending it.
Yes.
Almost as if it's part of his narrative. That's the way he was defending it.
And then he painted a flat earth image for everybody to think about. This box of salad. You know, it's another one of those images to be planted there. You know, and to claim that, you know, everybody thinks like this. And you are a flat earther. You know?
He does that a lot. He says, like, he's been round and talked to a lot of people, but I'm not too sure. I can remember him sat in Jose's, on the Jose's stream, but I can't remember him talking to a lot of people. I mean, I know. There's, you just go and have a look in my back catalogue. You'll see how many people I've talked to. I think I have the right to say I've talked to a lot of people within this arena. Don't know whether Charles has got the right to say the same. I don't know.
That's why I wondered about the math bit, you know. He didn't want to focus on the math bit in the flat earth math. He wanted to focus on the flat earth, but the math he didn't. As I said, I don't hear those questions about maths. I haven't heard them anywhere. You know, so for him to be focused on what he, I don't know, if he's got whatever guides him to be here, to bear witness to something. You know, it's like I'm here as a mathematician to dispel the stupid ideas that the flat earthers are talking about mathematically, and I don't really hear that argument at all.
Emma's been talking about that for like years, really. I think one of the things that Emma does try and say to them, and I don't know whether there's ever been a direct answer, well, except for a few times where they say they're here to laugh at you. I've heard that quite a few times.
I wonder if Charles's wife is happy because he just typed in the chat. He should be getting on with his bloody.
Oh yeah, he shouldn't still be listening now. Or
yeah,
looking at
he's
that.
supposed to be.
Come on,
16th he's supposed to be making eyes,
isn't it?
He's meant to be making eyes at his wife over the table over a glass of wine and a pizza or something. Will you please get off your phone, Charles?
Oh, wait a minute.
16
Blue's
years.
saying Paige, do Geronism. Do Geronism. Blue will like it on there. You go well on that. Paige and a Big Blue on Geronism, debatism. Anywhere. He does say anywhere. Do it on Geron. You'd have to lay off with that, the way you talk to women. I don't think Jaren would stand for any of that sort of stuff. That'd be great, Paige. You'd be good at that. Paige and Blue Marble Science. 1v1 anywhere. Debatism. Let's do it. Yes. We'll do the working. See, you will see some people. We'll get it sorted. Maybe able to do a big one. Maybe we might be able to use it as a sweetener for the false dichotomy debate. Helping out the cause. You'd be able to get extra credits from Brenda and I think he'd go for coffee with Brenda and McToon. Lou, you can get in there. You've got professors on your side. University chairs. Oh, Charles is out of it. Look at that, Charles. That's what happens when you go out for a meal with your missus. Big Blue's out there in the chat, sorting out debates. Stealing your thunder. I think I've got a gift.
He's been swatting up on his Euclid book he got last week. Trying to find some little angles to stick his screwdriver in.
There somewhere. Yeah. This takes too long, all of these gifts. It would be better if that might be because I've got too many of them. Oh, here you go. There it is. Look at that. Took me.
I don't think it's going to last. He's not going to last another 16 years, that's for sure, if he don't put his phone down.
How you make a sphere into a plane. It's all entirely Euclidean, right? Debate page is perfect proof. Well, that'd be great.
He must be texting in the shower. Got 65 minutes before he's out for his meal. Yeah, he's in the shower there texting. We're looking away, Charles. We're not looking at you, okay? Got our eyes closed.
We say Blue, it's 3. Is it 3 claims, 4 questions? Or 4 claims, 3 questions? I think it's 3 claims and 4 questions. That's what you go into your debate with, Blue. And Paige obviously will go in with her 3 claims and her 4 questions for you. That's it. That's how it works at Debatism. There's no need to go for coffee, really. But, I mean, you can do if you want. Perpendicular and parallel. Pages, perfect proofs. That sounds fair enough, Brew. Done it? I'd quite like that. Good on you, Paige. Charles is all right saying that because he hasn't had the conversations that we've had. And literally, we've had some really strange conversations with people. Now, Charles says a curved surface is not a plane. Yet, the other day, we definitely were in a conversation with somebody who said a spherical plane. So, although Charles may not say it, there are other people that are, well, they have to say it, really. Because they have a dogmatic model to defend.
Charles' wife's got no hair.
With wigless. Yeah, happy Christmas to everybody. Is it? It's Friday, isn't it? Coming back on Monday. There's no UFC this weekend. So I guess that means ARC all weekend. Other than making Christmas dinner. Yeah, if anybody happy Christmas and all of that. If you feel like you want to pop in, hit the join on the Discord. What time is it? Past 10. Do you want to go over that video that we did this morning? The conversation. Because I think it's part of this measured flat stuff that Charles was defending. To show like how actual flat earthers attempt to defend it. Do you want to? Let's have a look. I think it's only about 20 minutes, seeing as it's... No coffee. I don't blame you, Paige. Swap these screens over. Is that all right for you guys in Discord?
Politics.
Yeah. Let me see you guys.
Yeah, it's fine. Be a good one.
This was from this morning. I think either over the weekend or sometime. I think we might be going over, you know, the follow-up. Like last night we put on like a long stream of a conversation that we had. It was over one day of a weekend. Last week, I think, sometime. And there is a follow-up to that. I called it the Sophist Playground because they came over here trying to, I don't know. I guess, like, if you want to watch how the new modern Sophist works, then, yeah, feel free to watch it. It's 8 hours long, a massive one. But we do have a follow-up video that's about an hour that Emma thinks, and I think as well, it's pretty relevant in the way this sophistry sort of stuff works. So we'll try and go over that maybe over the weekend sometime or something. We may do a bit of a special where we go over that. But this one is from this morning, where we went into the politics server over on Discord. Join it if you want. It's quite a large server with loads of topics, so if you want to discuss things, then this is the place. In this meeting, I get invited into the chat by one of the guys who the other day was called a surveyor in one of the other videos that we had. So I was questioning him on this Nathan Oakley sort of thing. It's 20 minutes long. Bear with us. Is there no sound there? Maybe. Oh. Maybe there's no sound on it. Can you guys hear that or not? There is no audio,
I cannot hear anything.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that then. It says there is sound, so maybe not. Maybe not. So yeah, well, that's not going to occur. That's a bit of a shame. I'll have to look into that. Maybe my sound's gone. So is this on? We go over this sort of stuff here. Blue, is this good? Page versus Blue over at Debatism. 3 claims, 4 questions. I like it. It's a good idea, really. Because then at least you're forced to make a claim about something. Let the Alenkai begin. I like it, though. Blue's setting up debates. See, we are useful. Blue's getting back in the debate scene. Remember that last one, Blue? The level is ... and all horizontals are ... I think it was.
Yep.
I bet you've got fond memories of that video that you prepared for that one. I haven't. I've forgotten it already.
You're not alone.
Yes, Mike. Blue has set up. He's used the chat over at Try Thinking to arrange a debate with Paige over on Debatism. At least that's preferred place. Place where Blue will have to control his misogyny. Blue's already confirmed it, hasn't he? thought he confirmed it. I hope everything's going good for Danger. That was some news, wasn't it? I didn't expect that either. Everyone's getting going. Oh. Has anybody got any other topics? Because I think we've done quite well. Like, I really like the idea of the keeping up to date with the Flat Earth Church movement. Has anyone been keeping up? I know Air Bear does keep it up to date with that. Has anyone considered joining? I do believe it's on the internet. A lot of churches are nowadays. What about the Texas rancher and his trip to, was it Antarctica?
Religious trip?
Yeah, they were both of the pastors were going to go to
I believe you call it a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Pilgrimage to Antarctica.
Yeah, what they should do is they should go to the North Pole where they can both be together, right? We can come together rather
Unity,
than
unity,
division.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great
Unity
idea.
at the North, only division at the South. That's all you can get. Why do they choose to go for division? Why not go for unity?
Right? It's a really good question.
Mm-hmm. Which is what I think we try and achieve is a unity, right, of everything. We can all come together in proofs within reality. What's wrong with agreeing upon things and having a common knowledge, something we can agree on, like the horizon being horizontal or all horizontal planes being parallel to each other. Why can't we just agree on these simple things? Provable truths. I don't know. Yeah, it'll have to be in the new year. You can't arrange anything before then. I think Jaren's got one of his things going, hasn't he? Another one of these meetings. And they're trying to set up the church. So has anybody got any other topics? What about you guys? Page and Blue's the talk of the chat. Page versus Blue in 2024. Start the year off with a bang. Let's go. And then you never know, like the floodgates might open. Charles might be ready for an appearance. Scholar Source, Blue Marble might do a double team. Bring the spherical mathematicians out. Blue Marble and Scholar Source. Spherical Pie and the Professor. The Blue Spherical Pie Man and the Professor. What a team. Sorry, Big Blue, the spherical pie man. Maybe Jaren can do that. Would you take on a nickname like that, Blue? You know, like a middle name, like a UFC fighter. Spherical pie man. What would you have, Blue? What would you want to be noted for? Not the balls. Would you want to be associated with Cavendish? The seismometrish. The inventor of the seismometrish. I could do your intros for you. Has anybody got anything else to talk about? Because, I don't know, it's getting Christmas time, isn't it? I'm going to have to work out what's going on with my sound as well. Yeah, well, I think that's we'll wrap it up. It's a Friday. I think we might go over that video of the weekend. We'll just see how we are. Whether we put it out live or whether we record it and go over it. I don't know. But hey, and we've got all of that video to go over in the week or so before 2024 starts. The seismometrish was genius, Blue. Was fantastic. I can remember being in the room when we found out about the room shaking. You constructed it that well that it managed to sense the room shaking around it. That was fantastic. I do believe that was Chike that said that. Is he all right? How's he doing?
So it is detecting not only gravity, but it's seismograph. Good
Seismometrish. Famous. He's got it in a university. There's a plaque on the wall and everything. Blue Marble Science, the inventor of the seismometrish. So isolated from external influences it was. It managed to measure the movement of the room around it.
Very sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how we know it was probably one of the most well constructed seismometers. It detected an earthquake from something thousands of miles away. PhD Tony, the guy who said that triangles have spherical triangles have 3 by 180 degrees. Told him that. Because Blue didn't know what it was. PhD Tony told him. Some of the events we've seen, it's been a pretty good year, hasn't it? Really. I hope everybody does have a good Christmas. And I'm planning on going live on Christmas Day, I think. It's Model Affliction Monday. Christmas is a model as well, so can't let a team down, I think. So providing everything's well, I will be coming back Monday, but we may be doing a video or something else. Has anybody got any requests for Buster? Yes, he's not flat.
Can I make a request?
Go on.
The one that's 3 songs in one.
3.
Yeah. It's like 3 different songs all pieced together.
Is that the Earth is not flat one?
Yeah, probably.
That's what the one we started
Thank
off
you
with.
very
You
much.
want to do that again? Is that just because it's dead long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Okay. Well, nobody else has requested it, so we will end up on this. Merry Christmas to all of
Ben.
you, and I will see you on Christmas Day, I think.
I will pop in on
For
Christmas Day.
anybody, if you're around. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but hey, Merry Christmas, and see you later. Thank you. If the Earth is flat, Pete, then there would be no measurable change in elevation. Q. Elevation is a measured change in the vertical axis, therefore not Q.
Therefore, Earth is not flat. And in maths, you can prove whatever you like. I'm saying it's not physics. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah, so where does the proof of your flat Earth, where does that come into it?
You measure Earth as flat with a flat baseline to a ground position to start. You can also prove a flat Earth by measuring angles. How useful for proving a flat Earth? It's a measurement of a flat Earth. Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
So what about the proof then, right? Does the proof of flat Earth that you have, does that lie within the bounds of science?
I will get triggered now because this is dishonest prick.
Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
Well, I was just wondering, when you were talking about proof of your flat Earth, is that the same proof as the proof that you were talking about with Jaren in science?
I answered the first 2 times. I said no. Twice. No.
now because this is
Measuring
dishonest prick.
things like a flat baseline to a ground position for stars, not scientific. That's a measurement. Science establishes the cause of an effect. That's the science we deal with. We deal with natural
By
science.
using scientific
And while
method,
the knowledge can be put on the cover of a book as the science
prove the Earth
of
is
ground position, the star, here we specifically deal with natural
Should I show you how
science.
it's possible,
That's
mate?
the scientific method.
by using
There's the
scientific
distinction.
method to prove the Earth is flat.
And I'll agree with you. In maths, you can prove things in the maths. The maths itself is an abstract language. Whereas physics, that's science and the scientific method, is dealing with the physical. It's the difference between science, physics, the physical, and maths, which
Should I
is
show
an
you how it's
abstract
possible,
language to describe things. Now, if you're saying you can prove things with maths, 1 + 1 = 2. Ground position. Proof. To start. And you are equal to, you've had 1 plus the other one. I can accept that that's proof. Ground position. Maths. To start. In physics, it isn't proof.
Should I show
because
you
it
how it's
isn't
possible,
physics.
mate?
Physics is the
By
physical.
using scientific method to prove the Earth
Okay,
is
again,
flat.
I can use the scientific method to prove the Earth is flat. Not the Earth is flat because of scientific method. There's a difference. Shape is not science, but I can use method, the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
Ground position. To start.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
I got your numbers, they're right here.
Yes, that's correct.
It's just as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Sphere, not see
You
thing.
have to open your mind.
Flat, I see thing.
Imagination is all you need.
You do know science is also
Don't
deductible.
take advice from fools.
That is a fact.
Everything that they say is in vain.
This is a flat Earth proof. Yes, that's correct.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
Should I show you how it's possible, mate? By using scientific method
That's correct.
to prove the Earth is flat.
An Earth was proved to be flat by these measurements.
So we would assert that that average is how average the level of level is. It's flat. There it is. That's how we use it. The deviation from that reference means it isn't flat.
Everything is relative to you.
I will get triggered now because it's a dishonest prick.
Just have to say it. Generality.
It's a what is.
You
Go.
like those straight lines of curves.
Means it isn't flat. Yes, that's correct.
Drive down the road, don't you
The elevation changes make the Earth not flat.
Third, then, it's a stupid argument. So this is a flat Earth proof.
all of this goes.
Don't report to FED or no one. I am my own person. I am my own person.
Yes, that's correct.
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat. To prove the Earth is flat. Don't report to FED or no one. I am my own person.
What's your observed phenomenon for a flat Earth?
Did I say flat Earth was my observed phenomena, or did I say I can use scientific method to prove it's flat? Huh.
Okay, what's your observed phenomenon to prove that it's flat?
I see too far. How's that?
I know the game that you're playing.
You want to know, JC?
And I know exactly what's on your mind.
Nah, I'm just letting the FED crew know
Got
that
your playbook, it's alright.
their lapdog needs more
Your
training
model dictates what you will find.
because you're an idiot.
And I don't know
Okay, what's your observed phenomenon to prove that it's flat?
where all of this goes.
I see too far. How's that?
Don't take advice from fools.
Because you're an idiot.
Everything that they say is in vain.
I'm manipulating my position.
Never take advice from fools. We all know what they do is in vain.
Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my position? Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my position?
What does your position have to do with the shape of the Earth?
You have an angle towards this.
You can also prove a flat Earth by measuring angles.
Observe, which is
How
already
useful
too far
for
to
proving a
see.
flat Earth.
Now that is scientific fact. There's no real evidence for it, but it is scientific fact.
The rebuttal is actually a straw man. And that's, why I want to clarify, because I think that's worth pointing out, that the rebuttal was a straw man. Nowhere in the argument is the words level plane even mentioned. Topography is not mentioned. And it's only about the elevation change, which is a measured change on the vertical datum. There is no conflation between baseline and topography in the argument. It's just a simple if-then argument about elevation change. And obviously the Earth is not flat because of elevation change. That's what the argument is about. I mean, we can read it out, the entire if-then, again, if it's needed.
Give me one more time, just so I can hear it again. Sorry, say it one more time.
If the Earth is flat, Pete,
Okay.
then there would be no measurable change in elevation. Q.
Okay.
Elevation is a measured change in the vertical axis, therefore not Q.
Therefore, Earth is not flat.
But the refutation to the argument being that there's some sort of conflation going on between a baseline and topography is just a straw man, because that's not the case for anybody who actually reads the argument. That's my point.
Well, it's not an argument because you're convoluting the baseline from which you will measure, which is your mean sea level. You're convoluting that with the topology you're trying to measure. So it's not an argument. Just you're misusing words.
And me stating the fact that mean sea level is a point on a vertical datum and not a level plane is just a statement of fact. Mean sea level is not a level plane, it's simply a point on a vertical datum. That's all.
Yes, but it's not a level. You don't understand that. What you just said.
Stupid non-argument, you stupid bonehead.
Okay, again, I can use the scientific method to to prove the Earth is flat. Not the Earth is flat because of scientific method. There's a difference. Shape is not science, but I can use method, the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
Why do we have to listen to this incessant verbal diarrhea with the verbatim repetition of it? Verdict!
Just be patient, guys. This happened before.
Well, I was just wondering, when you were talking about proof of your flat Earth, is that the same proof as the proof that you were talking about with Jared in science?
I answered the first two times. I said no. Twice.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
Where's the science for a stationary Earth? Okay, way to demonstrate that you don't understand what science is without saying you don't understand what science is. Because science deals with cause and effect relationships. Though natural science, that's the study of the physical and natural world, is what we are dealing with here on Flat Earth Debate. Now that is exclusively the singular, scientific method. That is exclusively illuminating the cause of naturally occurring phenomena. So when you say, what's the science of a stationary Earth?
Should I show you how it's possible, mate?
Okay. You're so used to being told that you can prove concrete nouns with science.
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
Prove concrete nouns with science, that you expect us to adhere to that non-standard.
Not the Earth is flat.
Earth is not flat.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
Not the Earth is flat.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Because of scientific method. Shape is not science, but I can use the scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
You can prove concrete nouns with science, that you expect us to adhere to that non-standard. It's not a cause and effect relationship that you're asking about. So when you say flat Earth,
should I show you how it's possible, mate?
measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct.
By using scientific method to prove the Earth is flat.
That's not something happening. That's not an occurrence. That's not a phenomenon. You're not going to get an IVDV relationship.
Do I manipulate my position when I manipulate my
it's
position?
absurd to ask us for the science of flat Earth.
You can use method, the scientific method, to show that it is flat.
Oh, you can ask for the measurements of flat Earth, the geometry of flat Earth. Okay, measuring things is not scientific. Yes, that's correct. The practical application of flat Earth, you can ask for all those things and we can provide them.
You don't understand.
Earth is not flat.
Not the Earth is flat.
You don't understand.
Not the Earth is flat.
Earth is not flat.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
To a ground position.
Just on your own.
But asking for the science of a concrete noun demonstrates you don't understand what science is. To a ground position.
No reason.
To start.
No logic.
Ground position.
No wisdom.
To start.
No worries.
Elucidating the cause of an effect, and the effect
You're just on your own.
exclusively natural. Only natural.
Does that lie within the bounds of science?
No. Ground position.
You're just on your own.
So what about the proof then, right? Does the proof of flat Earth, does that lie within the bounds of science?
No.
Well, it's not an argument because you're convoluting the baseline from which you will measure, which is your mean sea level. You're convoluting that with the topology you're trying to measure. So it's not an argument. Just you're misusing words.
What does that have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Sphere, not see thing. Flat, I see thing. I will get triggered now because he's a dishonest prick. You can use the scientific method to prove it's flat. Flat itself is not a science. You want to know how I can use science to prove it's flat? Have you ever thought of that? How do you do it?
Was that your
proof.
exit? Are you going to try and plug your shit on my channel? You
No,
stupid
why
clown?
would I want to do that?
Lost. If you're telling me you're going, I didn't thank you in return, you noticed.
Yeah. Keep watching Nathan Oakley.